What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to episode 38 of C4SVillains. I am your host JB and I am here with the Council of Villains, my boys Abe and Steve, and I am here with two very special guests, two honorary members of the council, my boys, the King of Games, RayApollo, and on loan from the Popaholics podcast, Chris Conkling. Guys, thank you so much for joining me for this What If finale review.
Thanks for having me back. It's always
Absolutely.
a pleasure to hang out with you guys.
I appreciate you letting me come back to blow Steve's mind yet again.
Hey, you know the vibes. You know the vibes.
I had to study a lot. I was like, oh, Ray, I thought Ray's gonna be here. Okay, let me rewatch episode 8.
Yeah, you guys already know Ray's gonna come with some crazy fucking theory, and it's gonna be like,
I do have one that I have been like researching, and I kind of feel good about it.
I can't wait to hear it.
Here we go.
Yeah, it's gonna be a really fun show, guys. I only have two news topics that we're gonna talk about right off the top. We're gonna be talking about the Young Justice Phantoms announcement. Very, very excited about that, and the GTA Trilogy remaster announcement. So can't wait to talk about that, and then we'll be diving into the What If finale and then our overall thoughts on season 1. So let's dive right in. So Chris, I want to start with you. Are you a fan of Young Justice, and are you excited about the news for season 4?
Absolutely. I was watching Young Justice as it was airing on Cartoon Network, and when season 3 was announced, it was the main reason that I signed up for DC Universe when that became a thing. So now that it's just kind of crossing over to HBO Max, I can't wait. This show is so good. It started as a children's show, but because they're focused on teens, like the drama escalated over time. We get to see our characters age up, which is fantastic. See the younger characters come up as well. Honestly, you know, for 20 years, DC's been killing it in the animated realm, and this is just another example of what they can do in their animation. So I'm very excited.
Yeah, Ray?
So Young Justice for me is fun. Like it is a lot of fun. And then I saw season 2, the start of season 2 too many times, and I got annoyed. And then I finally finished season 2. And then they announced season 3, and I was like, "Oh, that's great!" Until this day, I still haven't started season 3.
Oh shit!
So I'm going to start it. I just have not worked up the motivation to do so just yet. But I do love Young Justice, and I love the idea of what they could do with Young Justice. So far, I haven't been spoiled on anything, which is still wild to me, actually. So I'm excited to watch it. I want to. Wow, I will through the screen.
Steve's ready.
Or wring your neck. But no, I love Injustice, and I hope. Well, I mean, I know that for a fact that I get some static love in it, so of course I'm gonna like it. So I'm all about it. Give me that.
Yeah.
That's
Hey,
fair.
what about you?
For me, I'm in a similar boat as Ray. I've yet to watch season 3. However, because of season 3 being out, I decided to restart my binge of Young Justice from season 1, and it's been slow just because of everything else we got going on the table. But it's been so long, since season 1 first dropped, to revisit it now. Just think about all the memories, and I'm hoping to be caught up in time to just go flow right into season 4 when it comes out. But I'm excited. I mean, Young Justice should have never been canceled in the first place. The reasoning behind it was stupid.
Very.
It was a prized possession, and they really fumbled the bag. But it's always time to right the ship, and that's what it looks like. And I'm excited for Young Justice Phantoms for sure.
Steve?
Oh, I'm excited. Season 1 and season 2 was perfection for me. I don't know how it was a slow start for you guys, but season 2 is perfection to me.
Just the start, like the first few episodes, I'm like, "Come on, bro,
If Ray's seen it 10 times without finishing the season, I can understand why he would give up on
if
it.
you keep starting it over and over, then I can understand where you're like, ah, well, get to it. But season 2, like the development and everything, it's perfection. Then season 3 was the one to me that I felt was a slower burn, and then it picked up towards the end. Season 3 was like, I was like at a point where I was like, okay, so it's a lot different. It's a whole different feel because season 1 and 2 was on Cartoon Network, where season 3 is on DC Universe. So they're more uncut, more raw and stuff like that. And it definitely will give you a different feel, especially if you're binging it, because you're going to be like, yo, what just, it does feel different. So, but season 3 was still pretty good. And I'm excited to see how they're going to do season 4, because the way season 3 ended and who's the villain and everything like that, I was just like, okay, yeah. I'm not going to spoil you, Ray. I'm not gonna Vash you. But yeah. But yeah, man. Season 4, I'm excited to see this, man.
Yeah, same. I'm a huge Young Justice fan. Loved the first 2 seasons. So I thought the first 2 seasons were flames. And then the beginning of 3 started, Outsiders. And I'm like, this is really slow and it's not working for me at all. So I kind of just stopped watching it until it was done, went back, binged the whole thing. And I was like, yeah, this is still the weakest out of all 3 for sure for me. So I am very excited for Phantoms. I'm curious to see where it's going to go from here, and I hope that they make improvements from Outsiders, because I feel like Outsiders promised a lot of excitement, especially coming off the heels of how 2 ended, and then 3 was just like, yeah, it was kind of boring. I'm not a Cyborg guy either, so it's like there's a lot of time spent with Cyborg, and I don't care about that character at all. So it just felt like a lot of wasted time for me. And yeah, it just wasn't for me. But yeah, very, very excited for Phantoms. And I'm excited to see what else they release at DC Fandom. Like, I hope we get some footage, some imagery from Phantoms, some other stuff, whatever we're going to get from DC Fandom. Make sure you guys subscribe, because I will be live streaming the entire event on YouTube and Twitch. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that.
It was announced that we're getting a new trailer for The Batman, which is really exciting.
Okay.
Yeah, trailer for The Batman. We're going to get a clip from Peacemaker, some Gotham Knights news.
I want to know about Knights gameplay some more, you cowards, and give us a date.
Right? Like a real date.
I don't care. I don't care about the Suicide Squad game. I'm going to be real frank. Unless they show me it and it looks amazing, I don't care. But give me
have we seen like any gameplay footage outside of the trailer?
Literally all they gave us was that trailer to build up on the hype from Suicide Squad at the time. That was it. Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, man, I'm very excited for DC Fandom. Definitely excited for Young Justice Season 4. Let's move on to the other piece of news. The GTA Trilogy is getting a full remaster. Now, a couple weeks ago, it was leaked online, saw it all over Twitter. We saw a potential remaster of the trilogy. You got Vice City, San Andreas, and, well, what's the third one? I can't remember right now. GTA 3, Vice City, and San Andreas. So Vice City,
Liberty City,
Vice City is probably like my second favorite GTA game. Love Vice City. I love using the minigun. San Andreas, I loved being able to turn on riot mode. I'm a cheat guy. GTA is the best when you turn on cheats. So when you turn on riot mode, pedestrians, gang members, everyone has guns, rocket launchers. You just have the time of your fucking life, right? Like, I love that I could go to the gym with my character. I could go to fast food restaurants with my character in San Andreas. And then they stripped it all away in GTA 5. So, Chris, I want to start with you again. I want to know, like, how do you feel about the GTA game saga? And are you excited for the remaster?
So I myself really don't have a horse in this race. I've played GTA games vicariously through friends and roommates, but I've never purchased one myself. What I was most interested in when I read this article, and I want to know how you guys feel about this as well, is the GTA franchise seemingly just keeps getting remade and nothing new ever comes out for it. GTA 5 has been on 3 generations of consoles at this point. So 4 maybe?
It's been on 3 for sure.
3? Because it came out for PS3, didn't it?
It was, PS3, and then it was no. So it came out towards the end of the PS3 into the PS4.
Yeah, it did. Yep, it did.
Like 2 months before the PS4 dropped.
And now it's coming out for PS5 as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
the way things are moving, it might come out for the PS6 too. So who knows?
We not gonna talk about that.
so I just kind of feel for the GTA fan base. Cool. If people are excited about this remaster, I'm excited for them. That's basically my opinion. I really don't have any other opinion outside of that.
That's fine.
Ray?
So look, I'm of the mind that it's great that they want to make money. Rockstar makes too much money, if you ask me. I know that sounds wild, but listen, when GTA has been one of the top selling games since it literally came out, yeah, they got money. But it's one of those things where I don't really care. At this point, just give me 6. I'm like, yeah, you're putting these out for people who haven't played it, but I think that they're pulling the versions that are currently available for people to buy and play right now. And adding this version, which is kind of, I don't like that, because if it's not better, that's messed up, because they're gonna charge more money for it. Let's be real.
Everybody better download the version that they purchased right now, so they have it on a hard drive.
Just in case.
They confirmed graphical improvements, gameplay enhancements over all 3. So
I hope so. I truly hope so, because enhancements, I don't know. We haven't seen them actually we haven't seen the next gen patch yet, so I don't know what that's like for them, how they're doing that. So I'm cautious about it. I mean, yeah, the only one I really want to play is San Andreas, because in my humble opinion, that's the best one. But still, we'll see. I'm cautious, because do they really have to try that hard to get people to buy this? No.
They don't. Hey, what about you?
Look, here's my thoughts. I just want GTA 6 so I can get back into GTA. I mean, like we mentioned before, GTA 5 is spanning 3 consoles. I purposely have been holding off hopping on GTA 5 because I'm like, yo, when I got my system, I was like, all right, just got in. My focus was on COD and 2K and whatnot since I was in college. Then after college, I'm like, damn, it's been like 2 years and I'm already hearing people who play GTA. So I was like, man, it's going to be rough if I jump in. And I'm like, all right, it'll be fine. We'll get one. Then 3 years pass, and I'm like, all right, new console's coming out, so we'll probably get a new one. And no, look, San Andreas is one of the best GTA games, arguably. Vice City is fun as shit. I want GTA 6, bro. I don't care about all this. I want GTA 6 so I can jump in fresh, because as soon as they announce a new GTA, I'm pre-ordering that shit so I can be a day one member, because now I know my lesson. Don't wait when it comes to GTA. As soon as you feel like, yo, I should cop this now, cop it now. Because apparently they'll wait 10 years before they give you something new.
Yeah,
and it's
crazy.
Amazing how they continue to just throw out more shit. And it's working because people are still involved with the online.
They're just biding their time at this point.
Exactly. So I will vouch and say that it is worth playing still.
Oh, yeah.
The game
love that game.
GTA 5 was wild. I still haven't finished it.
It's
been
so
out for
good.
15 years, but I ain't finished it. But worth playing, because what they were able to do with that game, starting at the PlayStation 3, is wild. Okay? Like, it just, that game really does some crazy stuff, does some wild stuff, talking about how you can be one player, go to another player in a different part of the game that's just by themselves roaming around, by the way, in real time. Mm-hmm. And then you can pick up wherever they are, then go into another place. Then they don't even start it on the online, which is a whole different monster in itself. I figured that GTA 6 is just going to be that. If they build a world where y'all just go play with your character from GTA Online, and that's the story.
I wouldn't mind.
they just be surprised.
I've been waiting for something that's like the Oasis, or like Free City from Free Guy, something where you create your own character and you just exist in this universe and just play with different people.
I mean, have y'all seen any of the GTRP stuff?
I have not.
No, it's basically people who have built this mod where they can essentially just exist in Grand Theft Auto.
Yes, okay, I have seen this.
And they play characters and they have odd jobs and stuff. I'm like, if Rockstar
people do it on Twitch all the time.
Do that, bro, the people would play this. People would not stop playing this game, straight up. So, I mean, you could be a criminal. You could be a police officer. You could be a lawyer for people who get caught by the police. It's wild. And so,
what do you do in GTA? Oh, I'm a lawyer.
Yeah, for real though.
You
I go to a day job.
Uh-huh. Yeah, and I also slang that rock on the side. You know,
Exactly. Well, I run these streets in and outside the courts. You feel me?
So I feel like they have the opportunity to do something really, really cool. It's just I'll be curious, and I'm like, that's why I'm also okay with it taking this long, because maybe they are doing something that wild, and I hope so.
My overall thing with it is I'm just upset because I have Red Dead Redemption, and it's like, can you update us, please? Like, that's online. We want to rob. I want to rob a train. I want to rob a bank.
I would say Red Dead is kind of that redheaded stepchild for real, though.
No, the redheaded stepchild is Bully.
We don't talk about them.
They talk about Bully Part 2 has been coming out.
Yeah, they put him back in the orphanage, bro. Yeah.
Bully Part 2 is supposed to be.
What year did the last Bully game come out?
Wasn't that
early 2000s?
04 or 07? Was it 07?
I remember playing.
It was a while ago.
Yeah. Bully was like the
2006.
Yeah, I knew it was like 06, 07. That was the one that I enjoyed, I guess, the most as like in college, because it was just like, oh, I get to be like a delinquent, bet. And I enjoyed that. I was like, let me go terrorize neighborhoods and stuff like that. But I'm excited for these Grand Theft Autos just because you get an updated version of CJ, which, you know what I'm saying, that San Andreas thing is going to be dope. If I ranked them, it would be San Andreas 5 and then Vice City right after. So yeah. And then Liberty was really good too. So like those three, I think those are their gold mines anyway. So update them, get everybody back nostalgic, because the whole world is living off nostalgia right now. Is what it feels like. So yeah, that's really what they're doing. And you come out with another Grand Theft Auto. I really feel like they need to hire a department for each game though, like, because there's no reason why my Red Dead Redemption still like one time for like a week.
He really heard about this, y'all.
No, because I used to play Red Dead a lot. Red Dead 2. I'm like a level 68 or something like that. But like there was one time for like a week you couldn't play.
Right, Steve, you gotta let me be in your posse. Yeah.
Yeah, join. I haven't played in like almost 3 or 4 months, but like there was a time for like a week where it just wouldn't let you do anything. Like you pull your gun out, but it wouldn't allow you to aim it and shoot at anyone. So it was like you just were walking around, and it was like you could tell players were getting on just to see if it would work, and it wouldn't work. And I was like, dog, there's no reason for a whole week that it should be offline like this, and then you updated Grand Theft Auto again. I was like, come on. So that's my only gripe with it. I just wish they would show some love to the people that played the most recent game that came out, and we should get something.
Yeah, hopefully they do that after GTA, you know?
I'm about to say, yeah, you got a game. That's all you get. In 10 years.
GTA. Yeah, I just got to replay the game. That's what it is. I'm like, and then
I mean, Red Dead's so dense that you keep playing that game doing random bull for who knows how long.
Yeah. Right.
Well,
especially since when Red Dead first came out, it was like, yo, this thing is 100+ gigabytes to download. Like, what the hell? It's like, come on, y'all.
The map is huge.
I like open world games, man. They're my favorites, which is why I like GTA so much. Like, when I play that game, I don't have to do any missions. There's so much other shit I can do. When I've had a bad day, turn on GTA, I go downtown, I get out of my car, and I just murder like 100 people.
Just throw a prostitute out of a helicopter.
Yeah,
you'll feel
exactly.
way better about yourself.
Way better.
Why can't I just do that to a random government official in GTA? That sounds like way more fun.
That's GTA 6.
That's a joke, FBI officer watching this, okay? It's a joke.
There is one thing I would like, well, a few things I would like in GTA 6. I would like to be able to rob a bank, right? Like whenever I want. I would like more stuff like that. Like when people are at the ATM, I would like to destroy an ATM machine, pull out all the cash, right? Like there's certain small stuff like that where I wish we could go in, because you can do that in like a grocery store, a clothing store, right? You can rob it. Why can't I rob a bank? That's one of the things I would like for them to add.
You have to get your friends together and do a heist.
It's weird, like that's where they draw the line, right? You know? Like why there? It makes no sense.
You can do everything else, but robbing a bank is out of the question.
Yeah.
That'll be everybody's test run. Some real bank robbers, they just keep doing it over and over. They're like, all right, this is our test run, and then they actually go do it. That's probably why they don't do it.
But yeah, that's the heist. I feel like that's and I mean, the heists are a lot of fun. Don't get me wrong. The heist, the heist you do in the story mode, You can do this with your friends online, and it is a ton of fun. Like
I should do that. I've never played GTA
It is a good
Online.
time. I feel like just the rest of it is kind of a mess, but the heist, when you just get in with your friends and somebody who like plays this game, it's a ton of fun. It's a good time. I can figure it out. We'll get you into a heist. Yeah.
Sweet. Say less. Cool. So those are the 2 news topics we had for tonight, guys. I want to move directly into the What If finale review. There's so much to unpack for this episode itself. I want to get Chris and Ray's thoughts on episode 8, the entire season as a whole. So let's just dive in. I think I want to skip general thoughts for this episode, and I just want to dive straight into spoilers. So let's dive in, chat. So as long as you guys know, spoiler territory right off the bat. So this episode jumps in, and I love it, right? We come off the heels of the last episode where Doctor Strange, Supreme, and the Watcher have come together, realizing that they now have to do something in order to stop Ultron, and they're putting together the Guardians of the Multiverse. And we get this amazing homage to the Winter Soldier opening, but great. With Captain Carter. Absolutely fucking love it. So I want to go around to you guys, and I want to know some of your favorite moments from that opening. If you had like a favorite one of the Watcher choosing one of the members, like we got Star-Lord T'Challa saving Peter at the Dairy Queen. I thought that was fucking dope. Getting Gamora and Tony on Nidavellir, that was sick.
Who? I don't know anything about either of those people. We were introduced to them.
Right.
Listen, I need that episode because I saw that and I was like, well, this is the most interesting thing they showed us. I need this.
I saw the Lego set. I need the episode.
I mean, like, it started with them melting down the gauntlet. Like, what is happening in that? What happened?
Dude,
I need to know.
Okay, clearly the Infinity Crusher had something to do with that gauntlet. When she brings out this item, we're like, what the fuck is that thing? Like, as if we've seen it before.
That was very much like an anime-ass pool where it's like, hey, I got the thing that can literally destroy the stuff we're talking about. I'm like, where did you
good
get
for
this?
you. How convenient.
I did enjoy how they decided to nerf that tidbit though. I was like, all right, good. Let's not make that easy at least.
So they answered one question, but then completely disregarded another question about the stones. We'll get to that later on.
Yeah.
There's a few things about the stones that we're gonna talk about.
I was like, that's weird, but okay. Go ahead, keep going.
Yeah, so we go to Wakanda. We see that Shuri and Peggy and why am I blanking on her name? Pepper. Yeah, they're on their way to find King Killmonger. He gets chosen, and then Party Thor with the Ultron bots. That was fucking hilarious.
100% the best one.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, his obsession with Las Vegas over the course of this whole episode, Vegas has become his battle cry, and I absolutely love that that's now a trait of Party Thor. Like, it's so funny.
Haven't heard that battle cry before.
Viva Las Vegas!
It was I was like, wow, it's All Might, but drunk.
Right? So one thing that I enjoyed, I immediately started thinking about was when we get the when Carter, Black Widow says that there's somebody in the Stomper or whatever, and I immediately was like, okay, well, if he's in there and survived this long, he has taken the place of Bucky. So now I'm like,
talk about
that. That's what I was thinking. I was like, oh, okay, that's gonna be an interesting dynamic. So, like when I was talking, when I said in the chat, I was like, man, I don't really care to see an actual show other than the Star-Lord one or the Captain Carter one. And that was the main reason why, because I'm like, okay, so we're gonna see Steve Rogers as, you know what I'm saying, as a Bucky,
as the Winter Soldier.
I know we're jumping like
crazy.
Right, we're jumping to the post-credit scene. We went from the beginning to the post-credit scene. But did you guys notice the red accents on the Hydra Stomper's shoulders that weren't there initially?
I did.
Yeah.
So I think you might be onto something, Steve. I think we might be getting an evil, tiny Steve in a Hydra Stomper.
We're definitely getting a Steve Winter Soldier, straight up.
Like,
totally.
I feel like that's without a doubt. Which as soon as they said that, I was like, well, yep, that's her Winter Soldier, and I'm like,
which would be sick. I'm here for that.
I want a Captain Carter show so bad, bad. Like, give me that. She was actually, honestly, the most interesting one of all of them. I'll be very frank. To me, she was the most interesting out of all of them. Like,
yeah,
Strange
she's
is good.
definitely up there.
Strange is
my
good,
favorite.
but like Strange is good. Don't get me wrong, but Strange was still Strange. Carter was something completely different that was like very much
right,
okay,
like a true
fantastic.
what if character.
Exactly,
Because-
she was a
that's
true
fair.
what if, and I was like,
there's
yes,
so
I
many
love
different
this.
avenues you can end up exploring with her because we haven't seen the version of this
Mhm.
before. Yeah, that's
Mhm.
valid. That's valid. I'll accept that.
Okay.
For me, my general thoughts. Did I give my general thoughts? I don't know.
We didn't do general
I haven't.
thoughts,
No, we're
but
not
just
doing
like
general thoughts.
we're
We're just
not
like
doing-
which our favorite like watcher
okay.
recruitment portion was
Yeah.
our favorite.
Then for me, it was.
I'm mad I tied those together, the opening and the ending. See, I didn't even realize I
Yeah,
just did that.
that's why I was
That's
like,
okay.
we're doing general thoughts. Then, like, we might as well. This still sounds like what are we doing? But anyway, for me, my recruitment that I preferred, there was none that really, stood out too much to me. I'm gonna be real with you. There's none that just popped out. I was like, oh, like, yo, I liked them for what it was. It was more so the action that we got involved with later. Although I will say I did chuckle at the Party Thor one because it's like, hey, I'm trying to give my introductory speech. Thor, you have been you
And just grabbed.
calm down.
Thor.
Yeah, and I'm just
Thor.
gonna pay. And he just screams, loses his mind. It's like
It's the same thing as Thor Ragnarok when he's screaming when he's going through the thing.
I love that it
Hey.
transitions into him being in the bar though. Like he's still screaming when his surroundings have completely changed.
Yeah, like
But-
in Ragnarok.
Right, exactly.
But I actually did like the bar scene. Because it's a scene that you've seen in various other medias when it comes to time travel. Like we've seen something similar with Doctor Who before and whatnot, and I just appreciated that like just foresight, that knowledge, that homage that they paid, because it's always so dope. Like, all right, we got the crew together, we need a neutral site, off world, off planet, and here's our neutral site. It's gonna be a bar. You got the picture of Steve. You give Party Thor a beer, similar to what Strange did in which one was it?
Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah, the
in
post credit
Ragnarok.
scene. Yeah,
The movie I disliked, not the most, but the film I
it's
disliked.
crazy.
It was a fun moment. Just getting the band together, and it's so funny too because I was like, yo, remember before I was like, yo, they have to pull someone from Killmonger's world, right? Like they likely will have to pull, and they ended up pulling Killmonger.
I didn't think it was gonna be Killmonger, so that
I was like, okay, cool. They pulled Killmonger, and all right, I know I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but I have to say this now.
We literally already jumped to the end.
Yeah, we did. I was so excited
Cover
to see the
anything in
zombies come out, bro. I was so hyped because I was like, all right, we're gonna pull something from every episode. I'm like, but damn, who can you pull from the zombie episode?
And that was exactly who I was hoping it would pull from the episode. I was hoping it would, because I was like, we're gonna see Wanda get at some point. It's like you have
And
to.
no zombies.
So
because they highlighted her so much in the zombie episode.
Yeah.
It felt
Yeah.
like
I was excited to see her, but I also wanted to see someone else at the same time. But we'll get into it once we get to that portion. But since we're already talking about the bar scene, I love that Doctor Strange did his research and he thought that this would be something that would make the entire team, especially Captain Carter, feel comfortable, who's taking on that leadership role like Cap would in the traditional MCU. So I really like that. So we got the whole team together and they're running through the plan, and you can tell that the Watcher doesn't really want them to formulate a plan because of the way that it has to fold out. I like that they were chosen as this, like, much like the Guardians, this ragtag group of people that's just thrown together. Because if you've seen everything from the beginning to the end of time, and he even says that he searched all of eternity looking for one hero, but chose them, there's so many other more powerful heroes that he could have found, right? But these were the right ones for this mission. So that was something that I appreciated. What did you guys think about that?
I dig it. You know, like you said, they're kind of all these misfits that we've seen from across the multiverse so far. And you're right, they are perfect for the task at hand, because initially when you have Uatu pull all these people, you're like, there has to be like a better combination of people that you could pull from the multiverse. Like, I don't know if they're going to get this shit done, but they don't need to. You know, that's the whole point. And that's not something that he wants to reveal to them either. But I think the dynamic between all of them in the bar is a lot of fun. It's very reminiscent of the first Joss Whedon Avengers movie, like getting and the whole episode, frankly, is like very reminiscent of that film because we're getting to see all these characters interact for the first time and get to see like what the different dynamics are and how they combine their powers and stuff like that. So it's just a fun.
Dare I say a little
watch.
bit more fun than that initial Avengers collection too. I'll be very honest.
Easily,
it was way more fun.
They're not at each other's throats as much as
and not even just that.
It's
just that this crew, thanks to the previous episodes that it gave us some background, this squad had much more personality than the Avengers squad that we had, even though we got origin movies leading up to it. It's just that it wasn't hitting. And I'll caution it by saying this. Well, you know, hindsight is 2020. It's easy for us to say that now because we have something to compare them to, you know, like, or we can be like, all right, Captain America, Captain Carter. We can be like T'Challa, Star-Lord, Chris Pratt, Star-Lord. Right. It's very easy to see like, oh, these versions are much more interesting and whatnot. But yeah, they have more personality. It made it so much more engaging, and it's exactly because of the constant similarity with the 2012 Avengers is why I ended up enjoying this film. I just saw it as a retelling of the Avengers film, real quick, 25 minutes, let's get it together, and it was fun. And similar to the comics, when you have the Guardians of the Galaxy and how actually members interchange, I enjoyed at the onset, the haphazard randomness of collecting. Because I'm like, yo, even if we are to see the Guardians of the Multiverse again, which we will see in season 2, and possibly elsewhere in the MCU, there's no need for it to be the same characters. Like right. You have an infinite possibility of characters you can choose from the same universes that we visited, from whole new universes we predicted. So I like the fact that this is, dare I say, this is Task Force X of the MCU here. This is what it is. Uatu is Amanda. Is the Waller,
Amanda Waller
just more benevolent? You know, just more benevolent. So he's gonna give us a ragtag team to be like, yo, this is just who's going to be good to face this threat now. I enjoyed it. So that makes the bar scene much more engaging. And that also means that in the future, when you have similar type scenes with new cast, it can hit differently each time.
Yeah, East to West, I love what you brought up. Like, I also loved seeing T'Challa and Killmonger together. Like, especially when he calls him cousin, like, later on in the episode. Like,
when he was like, oh, you're not from my world. Yeah, you're from a different world. He's like, oh, I prefer to steal. He's like, what?
Right.
He's like, okay.
He's like, oh, you a thief. Oh, you're not holier than now.
Man, but no, I also appreciated that. I mean, even for how like kind of awkward it was, because you know T'Challa's just real likable, and Eric had already had an ulterior motive. You could tell,
right?
You could absolutely tell.
As soon as he's looking at that Ultron head,
I was like, yep, all right, you got something else that you want to do here. Okay, we'll see how it goes.
Because when the Watcher goes to that universe and picks Killmonger, I'm like, that guy? I mean, he's not going to play well with everyone else until we figure out what Uatu's true plan was, which was absolute genius, by the way. So I love that. So we get to this alternate universe where there's literally no intelligent life left on this world, which is a place that Ultron wouldn't even look at, right? And I love the Strange is trying to give this speech like the Ancient One, but he's doing just such a fucking worst job at it.
Well, he's just talking because I'm like, yeah, you literally just been sitting by yourself for who knows how long and just had nobody to talk to, so you're just gonna talk. Okay.
And I appreciated that. I was like, yeah, I mean, how else is he supposed to talk? He's been all alone for Lord knows how long.
Who fault is that?
Hey, while it is his fault.
Yeah, exactly.
Again, should I be upset? Like, oh man, you blundering fool! It's like, well, this is what is expected.
It's his fault, so I don't feel bad for him. I was like,
I don't feel bad.
He's like, he ain't got no friends. Too bad.
And he
you did this.
Got no friends. Oh well, he has one friend. He has one friend now.
Exactly. He's got one friend now, and two small ones. But we'll get to that.
Yeah, too small.
Yeah, but I love that sequence, and again, it's clear that Uatu did not want them to talk too much about a plan, so that Thor can do what he does next, which is impulsively send out an incredibly powerful lightning bolt. And I love the way that Ultron shows up, much like the Watcher that we've seen in all of these episodes, just in the sky as this benevolent cosmic being that we know that he came to be. So that played out really, really well. What did you guys think about that?
It did. He just popped in like, hey, there wasn't nothing here before, but now there is. Okay.
Who are there?
Yeah, because I'm sure he's standing in the infinite hallway, and then all of a sudden something pops up, and you're like, there wasn't nothing over there before. So okay, he can pop up. What's happening down there? Oh, there is something here. Okay.
He definitely was in the sky sending that text message before he came to the party. Who gonna be there? Who gonna be there?
Boy, you waste my time actually showing up first.
Yeah.
You know what the last 2 episodes have done for me, and overall what this series has done for me. So I'm JB, I apologize wholeheartedly for just jumping all over the place. It's no disrespect.
All good.
Love you wholeheartedly, okay? That being said, it makes me real comfortable for a fun and just portrayal of Galactus in the future. Because even if they were to give it to us animated, they understand the assignment with how to make a multiversal threat, a galaxy-eating threat. Because you got it when
I think you just
Vision.
We will get Galactus animated.
Yeah,
That's how that's gonna happen.
So I'm excited for that because now I know it's not gonna look corny. It's not gonna be like this doesn't work well. I have full faith, thanks to these last 2 episodes, that a Galactus animated, like whether he's the antagonist or you decide to give him a series, depending on how you want to portray Galactus, it will look right. It will look right. So
it'll at least be something that people are now familiar with. Like they've seen giant cosmic universe / planet eating faces.
They've been introduced to like legitimate like cosmic beings.
Taking a bite out of the universe,
So it's not gonna be weird when we go see Eternals in
exactly.
November,
Eternals is gonna make it infinitely more like easier to do that because we're gonna see the Celestials. We're gonna see how huge they are, so we can definitely get a good look.
By the way, I think we're also gonna get the Ultimates animated, and I'll talk about that later. Straight up.
Interesting.
You think the first Avengers? I mean, Phase 1 is so close. I mean, they use so much from the Ultimate Universe in Phase 1 of the MCU.
You know what happens? A storyline, an episode we can revisit if you decide to do the Ultimates animated. We can always revisit the Marvel Zombies. Like, that's so fun to me. I enjoy that. It's ideal. And here's the thing: from even the Ultimates, damn, we really are jumping all over the place. JB, apologies.
It's all good. I will bring us back.
Yeah,
that's why I dropped it.
That's why, but I'm gonna pick it up. You feel me? So anyway, even from the Ultimates, like yes, we have the Ultimates themselves, but you can give us spin-offs like Fantastic Four. Because here's my thing: while we are going to get a Fantastic Four movie, who's to say that we don't like start teasing Fantastic Four in animated form first? You know?
I think that would be a mistake.
I think the Fantastic Four has been treated so poorly on the silver screen since they first decided to adapt them.
But that's a different story. It's fine.
You think so?
Really? I don't agree at all.
I don't agree at all.
Listen, the X-Men started out strong and it kept going and they died. Like, so then I was like, nah, bro.
But at least there's some good movies. All 3 Fantastic Four movies are terrible.
Good movies.
That first Fantastic Four movie is better than the last 3 X-Men movies.
Okay, but there's like 20 X-Men movies,
better than Days of Future Past.
It depends on where you
thought that was Days of Future Past.
It depends on where you stand.
I
like
Days of Future Past. Yeah.
Comics,
outside of the solo Wolverine movies, Days of Future Past is the best X-Men movie.
Yeah.
Woo.
And it's Days of Future Past in name only.
Better than X2 though, James?
X2.
I think it's better than X2, bro.
Whoa, sir.
Especially,
James, give me a virtual high five. I agree with you. It's totally
especially if we're talking about the road cut, bro. The road cut Days of Future Past. It is the best X-Men movie.
Hold on, I don't mean to interrupt, but Chris, beforehand,
I'm kind of with you.
First Class is really good, Steve.
I'm listening to you, Abe.
Better than Days of Future Past. Chris, I was gonna say this. Look, baby. beforehand, me and you already had seen like we weren't gonna see eye to eye, and then you said that stuff. Now I know for sure we're not seeing eye to eye. First Class,
sorry,
better than
dude.
Days of Future Past, X2, and mind you, I wasn't the biggest fan of X2 until like the last 5 years when I went back and I was like, you know what?
Does this one actually hold up? And it does. Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
I didn't say X2 is a bad movie. X2 is a great movie.
X2 is better than Days of Future Past though.
It is. It is. It is.
It's my third favorite.
I enjoy watching Days of Future Past more than watching X2, but I would say that the top 3 X-Men movies are 1, 2, and Days of Future Past. That's just my personal opinion.
I would say 1, 2 in First Class. Honestly,
First Class is great too.
I would say 2
because I got the best Magneto there. So
2, First Class 1.
Steve, what about you?
I'm with you.
I would say First Class, Future, Days of Future Past, and then X2.
Days of Future Past.
If Future Past wasn't boring, I would have liked it more.
You're crazy.
What?
I would go Days of Future Past.
Maybe I need to rewatch X2 because what the hell?
Dude, X2
Steve is closer to James and I.
X2 is incredible, right? That opening sequence is ridiculous.
That's what I'm saying.
Ridiculous.
It's amazing.
Opening alone.
But dude, the opening of Days of Future Past, it's not comparable, dog.
It is.
What with the Sentinels, bro? Marking everyone?
With Nightcrawler doing his damn thing?
You're crazy.
Yes. So you
chime in on this. Rank the X-Men movies.
The Sentinels that we got for 5 minutes.
Listen,
the Sentinels that weren't that scary as that's better than X2.
I didn't care about the Sentinels that much either.
I didn't mean to upset Abe to this degree.
Days of Future Past makes the Sentinels really scary.
Abe is bah humbug of the past.
I mean, at the end of the movie, they were very scary.
I would say I agree with the X2 opening, but then I didn't like the way that Nightcrawler was portrayed throughout the rest of X2.
Oh, I love that.
I'm about to say, you mean
I
like
loved it.
His comic version almost? Oh.
Maybe, I guess so, because he seemed very,
outcast-ish because nobody liked him because his skin was
confident, all might-ish, I am here.
My
man, not like that, but he just seemed very like cowardly. It just
I mean, not cowardly, but I mean, yeah, he's been seen as literally a demon his entire life. You already know how mutants are treated. Imagine kind of looking like a blue demon.
An immigrant? Oh my!
And an immigrant.
He living the typical American immigrant.
Everybody hated him just because of the way he looked. That sounds familiar.
Sounds like black people. I know, but
and he had a tail too. On top of that, oh yeah, it was rough for him, boy. It was rough.
I just want to remind everybody that it's Ray's fault that we went on this digression, not mine.
I'll take this one.
Yeah, everybody. We all were arguing.
No, it's Ray's fault.
And if we include,
I'll take it. I'll take the blame, but not the responsibility.
Are we including like the Wolverine movies in this? Like,
well, I was saying just the X-Men movies outside of the.
No, you gotta count those because there's an X-Men in
it.
The
Wolverine
take all of them.
Are pretty bad. Minus Logan.
Because I was about to say I would put Logan
don't count
for the X2.
Logan just counts as like an X-Men movie.
Yeah, Logan becomes 4.
Yeah, but I'm with Almighty. We can definitely do an X-Men movie like ranking stream. That would be really dope because there's enough movies for us to talk about.
There's enough to talk about,
and I think that would be sick actually. But let's bring it back, right? So, what did you guys think about the protection spells?
We'll bring it back until I take it away again.
What did you guys think about the protection spells on the Guardians? Like, I love that Thor's was like this cosmic version of the helmet that we know. T'Challa had this really cool Wakandan crown and armor. Same thing with Killmonger. So I want to know your thoughts on the protection armor. And maybe which one was your favorite? Steve, I want to start with you.
My favorite was definitely the T'Challa one with the crown. And it was just because it was just like you already seeing the Star-Lord version, and then you getting the T'Challa crown and everything like that. So it was like bringing it back to just the fact that like you are Black Panther, like regardless of what, you know what I'm saying, your what if situation happened, this is what you are. You know what I'm saying? So that was my favorite one. I thought it was really dope. The fact that, you know what I'm saying, he's protecting everybody and fighting at the same time. And I think that was going overlooked because I did see, because I do be on Facebook too sometimes, and I did see a couple people that was like, man, Doctor Strange because everybody, in my opinion, I was like, Doctor Strange should have just whooped Ultron. You know what I'm saying? Like, but it was just like he had to protect everybody, and that was just showing how strong he was. He was protecting everybody, and he was still really holding his own.
Being the healer's a bitch.
Yeah, so he was doing.
He was the DPS and the healer.
Yeah. So I was like, that was just a testament to how powerful he really was. He protected everybody and was still like, Ultron really wasn't getting the best of him throughout the whole episode. He really was, you know what I'm saying, holding his own. So that was like what the real thing was with the armor that I enjoyed the most, because it was just showing, you know what I'm saying, how powerful Doctor Strange was.
For me, it was fun to see how strong Supreme Strange was compared to a full-on all 6 stones Ultron infused Vision infused Ultron, whatever order you want to go in. Just to say, like, yo, this man Strange is really that powerful. When you consume basically all the powers of your universe, the stones don't mean jack squat.
He absorbed how many times, bro?
Yeah. I mean, look, Ultron blew up the universe. He's like, yo, why won't y'all die? Yo, I can blow up this whole universe. And he does. And then it looks like Strange just swallowed that up and end up reversing it, because, yes, he also has his own stone.
I can't wait to talk about that. That was so sick.
Which is where we're going to get into some rules. And so I'm just like, yo, Strange really showed the fuck out. And what I love the most about the protection spells, while T'Challa was my favorite, but also I really did enjoy Thor's, because it was so Asgardian. I liked how everybody was very personalized. But I'm
Captain
like,
Carter's was very medieval, like
right? I'm like, I need to see more of Strange using these protection spells, live action, because we saw the protection spells when Strange was just normal Strange, when he faced his dark counterpart. Bro, you drop this in the MCU, you can have so much fun with this shit. Like, it's just really power scaling how strong Strange is and can be in the MCU. And I enjoy that because I got a lot of love for Strange. So I was very pleased with this sequence, and it was a lot of fun. Doctor Strange was clearly the MVP of the entire finale. Shout out to the old boy for destroying his own universe, but still holding it down and not being bitter about it,
Ray, what about you? Did you have a favorite?
I think my favorite was probably Thor's. Like, it was. I love the Asgardian look, and it was just kind of like a mystical, teched out Asgardian look, which I always love the like older Asgardian stuff when they show it, which is hardly ever. So it's like, it was a really cool, like, it was a cool callback, I thought. But really, I thought all of them were like I thought the enchant, like the symbols themselves were cool as hell. Like the way that he like, enchanted it. It was
I love the way they really function.
Cool. Yes, I was like, this is great. I'm like, this is some real Doctor Strange stuff right here. I like this. And so I'm really hoping we get more of that going forward, because Doctor Strange really does have some really cool stuff.
Yeah, man. And we got a taste of that in Endgame and this too, so I'm very excited for Multiverse of Madness.
And I mean, like, and I feel like we just got like a little taste too. So I'm like, give me more of that. I was all for it.
Yeah. The MCU has been great at maintaining like a visual aesthetic for different abilities, right? Like Doctor Strange's magic has a specific look to it. You've Guardians of the Galaxy, like jump points, like they're always hexagonal. Like they maintain technology and the visual look for things throughout the entire universe, which is like an excellent eye for detail. But I love the way those runes function on that armor, where as they're battling, you can see that, like, based on the power of the attack, you've some runes like kind of shaking and then flying off. It just visually looks so dope.
I love that. It was the attention to detail that made everything for me in that. Yep.
I definitely hope we see more of that in Multiverse of Madness. I think that would be sick.
Yeah, man. And I feel like this is all just great planning, just getting us prepared to see those types of spells, especially from like Loki too. Like the Loki series did a good job of showing us what Loki can be capable of when he actually applies himself to learning more magic. So that's going to be really sick. So let's get into the some of the team ups that happen against Ultron. I love this team up between Doctor Strange and Thor, where Doctor Strange multiplies Mjolnir against Ultron, and then Thor pulling the lightning to hit all of them like a huge lightning rod. Like, that was fucking sick. And then we get a T'Challa and Captain Carter team up. which is very reminiscent of her and Steve in the first episode of What If. They use a similar combo move against Ultron. I thought that was sick. So Chris, I want to start with you, and I want to know some of your favorite moments. And this is where the breakdown structure will kind of start to tear apart, because this is where it starts to go pretty quick. So I want to start getting into like our favorite moments of the Guardians against Ultron. Chris, start with you.
Yeah, as you mentioned, that team up between Doctor Strange and Party Thor was so sick. There are specific moments in the MCU where you can't help but, like, even if you're watching alone, just be like, oh shit. Like I was watching this episode by myself and I out loud was like, damn, that's awesome. But that's like the best part about the Avengers films, right? Is that you get to see all these disparate characters come together and use their abilities in really interesting ways. So I'm glad that they're maintaining that here in What If. The whole sequence with Mjolnir being multiplied and then attacking Ultron, and then Captain Carter jumping up to hit Ultron and then grabbing a Mjolnir on the way back down. Like, it's just so fluid. They're so good when it comes to fight choreography. And here, because it's animated, they can do whatever they want. They don't have to worry about like the physics of anything. But it's dope.
Ray?
When she grabbed that hammer, I was like, come on, bro, just let it be two Thors here.
Damn it, you should have came to me. You should have came to me, because that was what I was going to say.
Suck it, Steve. Anyway, I would love that. I was like, oh, it was like they teased it. It was like, oh.
I mean, technically, this Mjolnir isn't enchanted, right? So anybody can pick it up. They don't have to be worthy, because he was never exiled from Asgard,
which is great.
Yeah, anybody can wield it.
I was like, that's what I was hoping for. I was like, you made so many copies, just give everybody a hammer.
God. That would have been so sick.
My favorite team up was actually Captain Carter and Natasha. That one was super dope.
Yeah, later on with the shields.
It was so good. That was the one that had me yelling. I was like, yes, get his ass. It was so
the good. Two shields just hitting him in the fucking head. Like, oh, yes.
I loved it. He was like, oh, he can't keep up. He was like, oh, what about it?
It kind of reminded me of Cap and Bucky fighting in Civil War, except with two shields instead of one.
Could you imagine that scene with two shields?
Oh my god!
Then Tony he should have lost for real.
They would have accidentally decapitated him. Absolutely.
Yeah, that would have been the first instance of when it's like, damn, the MCU really does kill Tony Stark.
So, not to get off on a tangent again, like.
You see, JB is not even me this time. It's not even me.
Always preface it though. Anyway, so with two shields, Tony wouldn't have stood a chance. But with just one shield, Tony could have absolutely beat the two of them, which is wild. People would be like, no, wait, no, Tony could have beat. But he didn't. Just saying he could.
All right, so I'm going to jump ahead a little bit again, because thanks to Ray. All right, so with the two shield thing,
you literally jumped to the end of the show.
I didn't jump to the end of the show. That was Steve.
That was Steve.
No, I'm giving
Damn,
it to
yo, we don't even look the same, dog. Damn.
No, I'm giving you his blame.
Right, whatever, whatever.
That's right. Take my blame.
I ain't afraid of it.
Take my blame. You're Zorro, remember?
For everybody, that explains why I always go on tangents. So. For every body who's seen Black Widow, you remember the thing that with Red Guardian, how he kept saying like, oh yeah, me and Captain America, whatnot. And now we see Natasha use the Red Guardian shield. When Ultron goes just ape shit, and whose shield ends up breaking?
I have a huge issue with that shield, because it sounds like it's made of vibranium and it's not.
Yeah, so
and it really bugs me, honestly.
To me, that was.
You mean like the Foley work is the same as the other shield?
It
sounds like vibranium.
Yes, it's like they made a copy as best they could, literally, and that's why. It's just it was almost, they tried to have a carbon copy and they didn't have a carbon copy, so that's why it kind of sounds like it.
And that's why I was hilarious. I was like, oh, Red Guardian, he was like, oh yeah, me and Captain America.
Off-brand Captain America, exactly.
And then it's like, oh, but whose shield breaks against Ultron and whose shield stands up to Ultron's attack? Because
Red Guardian shield should have a durability somewhere in between John Walker's homemade shield and Captain America's vibranium shield. It needs to be somewhere in between that, hopefully, if the Russian government is doing their job.
So I just enjoyed that moment. It just made me think of Black Widow all over again, and like, yeah, Red Guardian, yeah, you're not that guy, buddy. You're not that guy.
Steve, what were some of your favorite moments from that Ultron fight?
One of my favorite moments was when the soul, was it the Mind Stone is on the ground
Soul
and you
Stone.
get that. Oh, Soul Stone. And then for like 15 seconds, it's just
So good.
And it reminded me of was Shang-Chi when it was just kind of like the panel was like around the necklace and how the fight on the bus was just centered around the necklace.
Right.
That pretty much was like the same thing. It was like the Soul Stone is on the ground and then all of the fighting, they're like trying to grab it. Somebody bodies lands, they're reaching for it and they pull them up. I thought that was my favorite part of it.
Dude, that was the most cinematic shot of the whole episode. It was so awesome.
Yeah, that shit was fire. So I really enjoyed that. And then like you guys said with T'Challa when he first jumps on Ultron, you literally can see the stone is missing.
Yeah, you can see when he pulls it off. Actually,
yeah, you can see when he pulls it off. And I was like, oh shoot, he stole it. And I was like, he got it. And then like when he threw him to the ground, I honestly and truthfully was like, how Chris was saying how he was all like, whoa shit, because I thought T'Challa would be dead because technically he's only human.
Protection spell.
Yeah, but the protection spell. But when he hit the ground, I sat up.
That's why Ultron was so pissed. He's like, "You just a human. Why aren't you dead yet?"
I can destroy galaxies with a thought. Why won't you die, dude? Yeah. That was so sick.
Yeah, they nerfed the Infinity Stones in this episode.
Oh yeah, that was probably my favorite moment from that fight because I also love that Doctor Strange uses his time stone to reverse time and then at the perfect moment absorbs all of that energy and it's just the same way he did in his episode. Yeah,
it was just a snack for him.
So we're already here. Let's talk about the zombies showing up real quick because I do have kind of a gripe about the zombies, and then we can talk about the Infinity Stone rules, right?
It's got to be the same one because I think we all peeped it.
Yeah, so I loved that Doctor Strange opened up a portal and was like, "Yeah, we're gonna bring in the zombies just to buy some time, right?" If you really wanted to buy real time, you brought the zombies. First thing, the first ones we see, Hawkeye, Iron Man, and Cap, right?
I thought it was Hawkeye, Cap, and
Falcon.
Falcon.
Right.
Oh no!
And then
because the Iron Man one got beheaded. Yeah.
He got decapitated.
Yeah, and then we find out that what Strange was really looking for was Wanda, right? And I thought that was really cool. You brought Wanda for that kind of emotional like connection between seeing this vision and knowing that she lost hers. Even as a zombie, she has that consciousness. I thought that was really, really cool. But if you really wanted to buy time, and if we know the Infinity Stones kind of work in different universes, why not grab zombie Thanos?
It makes the most sense.
Why not just grab zombie Thanos and let them fight it out for like 2 minutes? I don't need it to be long because Ultron has already evolved to this like higher cosmic being that zombie Thanos would not be able to hold up. But it would have been cool as shit to see Wanda and zombie Thanos against Ultron and then he marks them.
See, I was hoping for zombie Hulk. Is what I was hoping for. I was hoping for
that would have been kind of sick too.
I was hoping for zombie Wanda and zombie Hulk, and that would have been like the ultimate distraction, bro. Like zombie Thanos, I feel like that would have made it way more complicated than it should have been.
Yeah,
but
the show has already told us that the stones work in any universe.
Yeah, no, but then that defeats the whole purpose. Now you have two.
Now you got two sets, and then could you imagine him with extra stones? Bro,
yeah, but that's my thing. Still have Ultron kill them, but it would show.
It would have gave Ultron more stones, and that's all bad.
It would have made no sense based on what we know about how the stones work in the comics.
Because then it's like, all right, fine, you can take that
circumvent everything else.
I'm gonna take the one that Thanos has, and it's
but that's the thing though. It's like Ultron stones circumvent the multiverse.
I want to see Ultron go to every multiverse, gather every set of Infinity Stones, and just bejewel his entire fucking.
He could have been.
His whole body looked like Killmonger.
But that logic,
his chest, it says, "I am God, bejeweled out of Infinity Stones."
God, respect the drip. But think about it. Ultron is, funny enough, is arrogant for an AI, so he would have been like, "I don't even need no more." Because I already got the ones that I got, which still, could you imagine? 2 seconds, because he saw Strange's stone, he was like, "Oh, hold up."
With that, That second set would have immediately Killmonger would have been like, well, I don't got to get
Exactly.
Ultron.
This is exactly what
True.
I'm saying. Then it would have made it super, super, super complicated.
Would have complicated
And that's the
things.
reason.
Sure,
and
fine.
that's the reason why this episode finale should have been an hour.
And well, I feel like that's why
Let's make it.
it's only an hour.
Let's
Make it too complicated and people get bored.
Yeah, it could have been, but then it's
Make
just
it
like,
complicated.
you know,
I'm
if
with
you
you,
want to
baby.
keep it half an hour, then just keep it half an hour. What I did appreciate though was that Scarlet Witch was like, "Oh, who the fuck is you? I'm gonna beat your ass." It's like, "Oh my goodness, no, I lost." And it's like, "But you look familiar."
Mhm.
Because at the end of the day, we gotta remember that the zombies are still sentient. While they may not be able to talk, they still retain their memories and their feelings and whatnot. So I was like, "Oh damn!" Scarlet Witch was caught off guard, and Ultron was like, "Get clapped, okay," and took her out.
I agree with James that Zombie Thanos would have been a cooler visual and probably a more interesting fight. But if I was writing the episode, you go for the emotional beat.
Yeah,
You know, which is the Wanda Vision interaction.
yeah.
I
in that
wanted
moment.
the Hulk smash. He's the only one that didn't get pulled back.
Yeah, but my thing is that, you know, assuming that Hulk, well, clearly zombies couldn't bite Hulk when
Right.
he's in
I
Hulk
think
form.
Zombie Wanda just
So-
killed him after a
That's
while.
what I'm saying.
I think she just killed him.
That proved that to me, honestly.
Yeah.
That he died fighting. Yeah.
Eventually, Zombie Wanda overpowered, but they were equal match for a time being. But then it comes out, if it's a test of stamina, it's just like, damn, you know, like, I guess he's a zombie, but
It's a
like,
zombie. Yeah.
Also, thoughts on Uatu not bringing in Tony? Do you think that because we already had Zola, that Tony would be unnecessary?
Yeah.
Yes.
I feel like he only brought the people who were like literally important, like to his plan. He was like, I don't need Tony for this because he would have came up with a plan that was literally too good. Actually,
Plus, it's been established that Tony's is an absolute point. His death is an absolute point.
Oh
So
yeah,
that
I think
means
What If hates
he
Tony
has to
Stark.
die.
If he would have died in this episode, oh my
Well, no,
god.
so
That'd
I'm
have
like,
been like,
it
oh
would have
my
been
gosh.
interesting though. But like, what if it was a way that he found a way to not die in this episode, and that's the problem. And so I feel like that's why he left him.
Yeah,
Because, like,
Interesting that they cut the only episode in which Tony survives from the season.
Yep,
Yeah.
it died in real life. How about that?
It's just he left up
Okay,
there by himself.
so then here's another tangent. I'm sorry, JB. I do apologize.
No,
Here's
you're
another
good.
tangent.
Now you're taking my. Okay, that's fine.
No, but I've been doing this throughout the episode. I do apologize beforehand. Nah, we're gonna roll back the tapes and then Ray.
It's too late to
This happened on
apologize.
the anime basis when I was
It's
right
too
about the
late.
Shonen Jump daily limit, and you ain't want to give me my apologize. Right, you doing
Oh,
it again, Ray.
Why would I get at you?
Again.
Why would I
Anyway,
get at you?
Why would I do that?
I digress. Let me not digress any further. But all right, knowing that they cut out the Gamora episode, with all 9 episodes that we have now, which episode would you have replaced with the Gamora episode?
The Thor
Easy, the Thor episode.
episode.
Thor episode.
I would have
for sure.
replaced either the Thor episode or episode 3 where all the original Avengers die. Because you can literally have the scene at the end of this finale where Uatu takes Black Widow to that random world. We need no other context for that world other than Black Widow in this world is dead. So you could have totally
I
gotten rid of
agree,
episode
man.
3.
I
Now,
agree.
yeah, I'm going with episode 3.
I like episode 3 because it really did give you that like actual connection to that Natasha straight up. Like that actually really worked.
Plus,
Yeah, that
episode
came
3
full
was
circle
the
for me.
first,
Mhm.
was the
Same for me.
first severe turn in the series. Like it was like, oh,
I
okay.
think I'm with Party Thor episode.
Oh,
Party Thor
shit.
episode could have we didn't need it. It was
It
just
wasn't
fun.
necessary.
Yeah, it was fun, but we don't need
And
it.
if we would have got Party Thor early, it would have been different. But they got it. We got it after all of these episodes.
all the
where it
heavy
was
stuff.
like-
Yeah.
Yeah, it is like now you give us Party Thor. Like I'm not okay with
Because-
it. But it was because of the ending with Ultron showing up with
Right. It was actually supposed to premiere earlier in the season.
Right.
Yeah, I think
I wish it
think
had
if-
been the 3rd episode. I'll be very honest. It should have been 3rd.
If it wasn't for the Ultron showing up with the Infinity Stones, we would have definitely got that episode earlier. But once you see Ultron with the Infinity Stone, it's a spoiler for the next episode. So I think they had to do that.
I think that would have been sicker in Gamora's episode, to be honest. But still, hey, it's fine. I just got rid of the Infinity Stones. Oh, Ultron just showed up with them. Excuse me. Yeah, that would have been
good.
I'm also curious to see. I'm also curious about that Gamora story because I want to know how Gamora and Tony end up on Sakaar, right? Because obviously in that universe they're meant to replace like Hulk and Thor being on Sakaar, but how do they end up there?
the rumor, like the plot leak, is supposedly it takes place after Avengers 1. Tony has gone through the wormhole with the nuke, and instead of sending the nuke toward a random Chitauri ship, he actually fires it towards Thanos' ship and kills him. Gives Gamora the opportunity to kill him and like take his armor and become like, you know, Mad Titan Gamora.
God dang it, that's the dopest one. God.
And then he doesn't make it back through the wormhole, but instead ends up going through a wormhole that takes him to Sakaar. So that's supposed to be which sounds like a fucking awesome episode.
That sounds like to me it would have been my favorite. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I mean, they're saying we might get it in season 2, like at the beginning or some shit like that. But
I think it's confirmed that we're definitely getting it in season 2.
Okay.
Because
I'm excited to see it.
It's just, it's partially made anyway, so why not? It would, but because that's the thing about season 2. Season 2 can call back to some events of season 1 and give us some season 1 stuff while still expanding upon possibly new stuff.
So what I see it as is like it'll be like a special episode that they just add. I feel like it'll be like, hey,
like randomly a couple months from now, like here's a bonus episode for What's If. We finally finished it.
I can absolutely see them doing that.
How do y'all feel about not getting that episode? Because I know they say that they didn't have time because of COVID, but I mean, digital wise, you can handle this digitally. So in a sense,
I think this episode is real important. And that's why they decided to take their time.
Okay. Because I was like, digitally, you could have handled it. Like, send it to over here. Now,
I mean, it was, for me not watching any of the previews, all of a sudden for that Gamora to be, I'm like, come on, bro. We missed the whole episode.
bro, that made me so mad. I'm like, you got Gamora pops, you got the Gamora hype.
I was just like, it was just, things didn't make sense. It sounded because she was a big part of this, so a lot of stuff just didn't make sense. Because when she was like, "Oh yeah, I got the Infinity Destroyer," and I was like,
"The Infinity Crusher," yeah.
I was like, "Oh, that just don't hit as hard as I'm sure it would have if we watched the other episode."
I know.
Yeah,
it's like laughable because we didn't see the episode.
Yes, I was like, "Oh, well, that's convenient."
Right. So let's get into the Infinity Stone rules, right? Because this is where it gets kind of tricky and complicated. So based on this episode, it's almost like they're trying to say that when the stones work, for the most part, in any universe, but they're not like at full power, right, in each universe. But when they're in whatever space the TVA is in, because that's technically not a universe, like you said, Chris, they're inert, right? So did you guys also pick that up? Like,
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So
Which
like go ahead, Chris.
No, go for it, Ray.
No, I've said that you go, so you're going.
Fine. It's interesting because in the comic books, the Infinity Stones do not work outside of their universe of origin. Like they are completely inert; they cannot be used. So it's so weird that the MCU is going for this kind of like OP version of the Infinity Stones where they work in every single universe other than whatever pocket dimension the TVA is in. So the episode was strange in that way because like I said earlier, they were like nerfing the Infinity Stones, but at the same time making them capable of doing so much more than what Ultron was utilizing them for in the episode. Like he could have fucking snapped his fingers at the beginning of the episode and wiped everyone out immediately. So I don't know. Maybe it was like ego related or something. He was like toying with them. That seems on point for Ultron.
I think that's very much part of it. Yep.
But it's crazy to me how they're describing the rules of the stones.
And real quick before you go, Abe, here's the other thing. In the very first episode of Loki, he was in the same universe, but in like a Nexus timeline, and the Tesseract didn't work. Yep. So it's like, so explain that too, right? Because that was just an alternate version, an alternate timeline of that universe. So based on how they do it in What If, why wouldn't it work? It's
when did it not work?
The same universe.
When he first landed.
Because when he goes to that, because when he uses the Tesseract and the TVA shows up, he grabs the Tesseract trying to leave and it doesn't work.
Interesting. That is weird.
Yeah, so it's like, it's still the same universe, just a different timeline.
So in that particular instance, and I'm making this up, but it's completely possible, is that when the TVA shows up, they have like a nullifying field for stuff like that because they're prepared. They're like, oh yeah, he's got that. Prepare your like nullification field because they can do weird stuff.
Prepare the invisible nullification story field.
Yes, exactly. With our timeline erasing grenades. Excuse me. Yeah. So that's the weird thing I can make up for that. But I feel like it also could be because the further away you are from the point of where that stone is from, probably the weaker it is potentially. But also the Tesseract isn't the full stone. Remember? So like the Tesseract is just kind of like the shell. So it's not
But the
even
stone
like,
is inside of it.
Yeah, the stone's inside.
It's inside, but he couldn't use the full power of it until he actually took the stone out. Remember?
Yeah.
Or was he just trying to fit it into the gauntlet?
Nah, I don't, because you don't need.
He's just trying to fit it into the gauntlet.
In the actual in comics, that one is like a person, so it's different. I know, Siri, shut up. But still, when it comes to these stones, I feel like they are just able to kind of bend the rules, because what do the stones do inherently? They bend the rules of the universe to whoever's using them. So I feel like they can get away with that because they like the stones all together can do anything they want technically.
Right. That makes
Individually,
sense.
I can see how it would be like, oh yeah, this don't work too well. But all
that
together,
doesn't make sense because Doctor Strange was using the Time Stone against Ultron. So that was
because guess what?
Stone.
Doctor Strange at this point is a cosmic being, so he can do whatever the hell he wants to.
Okay, but the stone.
I mean, low key, he is a cosmic being at this point.
The thing that was like very off-putting to me was because the stones worked in multiple universes, even though from what we know they can't. But the Stone Crusher only worked in one universe, and I was like, okay, wait a minute. That was all like
because it was like fine-tuned
but
to only destroy the stones from that universe. So it was built to do that.
Yeah.
All of them work on different frequencies.
But that's the thing though. The Crusher is supposed to just, because you can't like actually destroy the stones, but you can reduce them to atoms to where they can't be usable. So why can't the Crusher just do that? Because they're not destroying the stones anyway. They're just crushing them to a point where it can't be used.
If it's at a different frequency, the way it works is that it needs to hit that right frequency to weaken them,
to shatter.
Okay, sure.
Shatter them. But if they are all, I mean, not saying that it is actually true, but it would make sense.
That's what makes sense to me.
But wouldn't frequencies be different in a different universe, so they shouldn't work?
That's why the object itself would work, because it's not tuned to where they are.
If we had seen that Tony and Gamora episode, we probably would have seen it atomize all the stones in the gauntlet from that universe. But we did not have that information for this finale. I feel like it would have fixed everything. Yeah, it's my guess as well. I don't know for sure.
That's the thing with the stones. I truly do feel, because when all the stones are together, they are like an absolute power, and that's why they can do whatever they want. That's my guess on that.
And for me, definitely correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the first time Marvel Comics said that the stones don't work in different universes was when my father decided to pull up
Gray Thanos,
and get Lord Darkseid. I'm telling your story right now. I'm going to let the peons know exactly how strong you are.
Doesn't he have slaves, Abe?
No, he doesn't. He is a god. He is a god. Okay. So anyway,
so if you're a god, they're not slaves.
But my father.
We're not going to talk about it.
They are.
He didn't tied you up. He wrapped you up.
Earlier today,
they are worshippers.
Pokemon trainers are just slave owners.
I saw that.
I was like, Pokemon trainers are slave owners.
Hey, we punished Michael Vick for what he did. I'm just saying.
Anyway, the Pokemon are choosing to be with the trainers in some instances.
Some don't mean majority. Hey, relax.
Hey, all I'm saying is
they eat Pokemon, bro.
If we're gonna call Pokemon trainers slave owners, Darkseid gotta be at least some poor.
They are worshippers.
Hey, I'm gonna be real with you. Darkseid racist.
Darkseid is Calvin Candy.
He definitely racist.
God.
I mean, it's in the verbiage of what he's trying to do. Darkseid's trying to use the anti-life equation to enslave the entire universe.
But he never got
it.
Well, at the moment, he doesn't have it. So
but he's going to do it by rewriting time since the dawn of the universe, so that everyone's compliant. So is it really slavery?
Did you just try to pull a reverse slavery? Oh no, sir.
Oh my God!
Hey, dude, really? If he wrote the rules to begin with?
Oh my God! Did you
He's
just?
He's basically taking the rules and writing it so everybody's a slave. Not just some
no!
I feel like
if everyone's a slave, then are there really slaves?
No.
is.
No.
Who is to say?
No.
If that's the only life known, you know? But anyway, I digress.
You
So
just humanized
Darkseid
slavery.
was the I justified Darkseid, okay? I defended my father. Anyway, Darkseid was the first one to basically showcase, correct me if I'm wrong, to showcase that, hey, this gauntlet doesn't work outside of its known universe. And then other iterations in the comics decided to follow up. Now, again, correct me if I'm wrong, the first time we see that rule kind of upheld was in Loki, you know? If I'm not mistaken. But as you mentioned, the TVA kind of exists in its own space and own time.
Right, outside of time.
Under its own rules. So that being said, I'm like, okay, if the MCU never outrightly said, because we know the MCU and the Marvel Comics can differ. If the MCU never outrightly said, like, yo, these Jones don't work amongst other universes. Because again, if TVA is in its own place, the rules change drastically. So with this episode, I was like, okay, it makes sense why Ultron was able to do it. But then here's another thing too, and I mentioned this last week, when Ultron was fighting Uata and he said, beings like us, the rules don't apply. I'm like, oh, so what happens when you have a force powerful enough to wield these stones, they can break those rules, i.e. Ultron, this is perfect Ultron essentially. He's able to break those rules. Strange, remember, Ultron and Strange were the only ones who were able to notice the Watcher unprovoked without him intending to.
Right.
Whereas everybody else, they only knew of him because he intended them to find out. So maybe it can be a mixture of both. The stones don't necessarily work outside of other universes depending on who you are. But if you are a being powerful enough, like a Supreme Strange who consumed all the monsters of his known universe and probably other universes, who's to say, a Perfect Vision Ultron, Uatu, you can have those stones work in different universes. So there's a sort of rule, and maybe this is the MCU establishing that. That way they're not like, oh, what if Thanos decides to pop up again and use it? It's like Thanos was never that strong of a cosmic being to do that, as far as how he's been portrayed in the MCU. Ultron has just been portrayed as like, yo, this motherfucker can take out whole multiverses if he wanted to. Right. Doctor Strange, Sorcerer Supreme Strange has been shown out like, yo, if he wants to as well, he can go out there and consume it. Like you saw Dormammu, he consumed them. He consumed every possible powerful entity throughout known to man and magic kind. So I'm willing to ride with that train of thought because it makes it so that we don't have to worry about the Infinity Stones as much moving forward. Especially even if we are to get Ultron later, it's like Ultron was only able to do that. Why? Because he combined with Vision. Now, not every universe is going to have a perfect Ultron. It's not going to be where that takes place. So if Ultron were to pop up and be like, hey, yo, we saw you with the stones fucking up the universe. What is this? It's like, we saw a perfect Ultron. This is not a perfect Ultron. So I'm willing to cut the MCU slack in that department and be like, okay, both sides can be true if you set guidelines, and this is them setting guidelines. Because how many times has the MCU been kind of shifty, shaky with setting timeline, with setting boundaries on certain rules? True. They kind of been loose. But this is kind of like the first time where, again, this is me just theorizing and shit, they're finally setting some boundaries.
I wanna piggyback off of what you're saying, Abe.
That's all I want to say. I'm tired.
True.
Let's do something else.
And by doing this, you can basically be like, yo, we don't need to revisit this shit because we gave you the ultimate beings who can use them. We didn't even take them out because we put them in permanent stasis. Now let's move on. Like, retire from the Infinity Stones. Leave it alone.
I want to go a little bit further down the nerd rabbit hole and piggyback off of what you're saying before we move on, because you mentioned that like the first instance we got in which we learned extra rules about the Infinity Stones was in Loki, when we found out that the TVA, they were just completely inert in that pocket dimension, right? But at that moment in time, there was only one TVA for all of time, right? But then at the end of Loki, when He Who Remains dies and the multiverse is created and expands out, does that also change the physics of the multiverse? And like, has that changed the way that the stones function in every timeline and every multiverse? I have nothing to substantiate this theory.
Because it was He Who Remains rules. So
yeah, he was holding it together.
Possibly, yeah.
And,
See,
and the thing is,
I don't know, because He Who Remains just took our universe and stuck us in a time loop so that anyone else from the other multiverses couldn't find us.
Oh, so they like wouldn't interact.
Yeah, so that they wouldn't
gotcha.
interact with us. So I don't know if that changes the rules to the stones, but it's possible.
That's very true.
Very possible. What were you gonna say, Ray?
I mean, no, I'm gonna let us continue because I want to blow Steve's mind just a little bit more.
Okay. So let's move on to Natasha's plan, where she grabs the arrow that has Zola, old Zola's AI in it, and I love this scene. This is such a really cool scene where she's on the bike, she grabs Hawkeye's arrow, which was so fucking cool, man. Like, just doing this, like paying homage to her best friend, takes the arrow, shoots it. Captain Carter jumps, pulls back Ultron's helmet, shoots him square in the eye, which is the perfect shot. And I love that we get this inner world of like Zola and Ultron. I thought that was really, really sick. And then if you guys notice, when Zola is taking over Ultron, it's like I think it's like 8 arms, which is like the arms of the Hydra. So I thought that was really, really fucking sick. So what did you guys think about that? And did you expect Zola to do the evil thing and try to use the Ultron bodies to take over the world?
I think
100%.
We all thought that, especially that's why they shot the legs off him in episode 8.
Exactly.
They was
like,
no, fuck
precaution.
That. They was like, fuck that. Let's take care of this right off the bat. But
and that's the first thing he says. He's like, I'm gonna take my legs back. He said,
it's been a long time since I've had legs, or something along those lines.
So he just shot the legs off, like, no, fuck that. And then, like, as soon as they got in there, it was like the Spider-Man meme. They were pointing at each other, like, hey, they start arguing, like, what the fuck are you doing in here? What are you doing in here? They were arguing. It was a really good moment. I enjoyed it.
For me, I did like that homage, that connection still with Hydra, with the tentacles that came out, and I also like how it stayed true to Zola's comic book form of the face being in the abdominal section.
Because we got a tease of that in Captain America: The First Avenger, and then they never did anything with it.
Exactly. So
I mean, they kind of have like. It kind of looks like him in Winter Soldier, where you have the screen with his face and the camera on top, like kind of looks like the head of the robot from the comic books, but they like weren't committed to going the whole way. You're right. This is way more committed to like homaging what he looks like in the comics.
Yeah, so I definitely enjoyed it, but the thing with me is that it became very obvious after watching the Killmonger episode and whatnot that if Killmonger is brought in with the team, we have to get a betrayal. We must. It just doesn't fit, because nothing here is going to say like, yo, Killmonger, so peace? It's like, first of all, you paired him up with a bunch of white people. Like, how is that going to stop him from changing his mind? He's like, wow, so look, just white people is in charge of all this stuff.
The difference between you and me is because you don't know the difference between you and me.
And like, out of everybody here, none of these folks know that. Party Thor definitely doesn't know the difference between you and me.
I mean,
he really doesn't.
Yeah. Talk about privilege.
So there's nothing there to make. There's nothing there to be like, oh, Killmonger, betrayal, never. Like, oh, his cousin, like, oh, even though his cousin is a thief and whatnot, it's like, yo, he's still too nice of a guy. He's still too positive. He's still the one that tries to find the happy ending, the happy solution. That still doesn't rock with Killmonger. So because of that betrayal being like basically telegraphed since his episode, bringing in Zola made the most sense, because who is to say there was no evidence that Zola, a Hydra agent, would, once he gets into Ultron, would be like, hey, yeah, you know, guys, we saved the world. Woohoo.
Yeah.
Natasha, get me something to drink. I got legs. Nothing like that was.
I think it was like a lesser of two evils type of situation, you know?
So it was ideal because you had, although the one qualm I will say is this, is that it kind of put Killmonger on the same plane, on the same threat level as a Zola in an Ultron body. And I didn't necessarily agree with that.
I like that.
I felt like it was giving Killmonger too much kind of praise. It's like, yo, this man can be.
It shows what humanity can do with the right motivations.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he's one of the most motivated people. I was like, I liked it because it took Killmonger elevated the character that was already on a level that it was never before. So
fair
Yeah,
enough.
because
And so, oh,
go ahead.
continue. Oh, so I was gonna say, and then with Strange realizing, and it's like ideally, this is why Strange is the MVP because he can pick up on this stuff. First of all, when you have all the time in the world just by yourself, thinking about your actions and how you got to this point, you're able to observe things a little differently. And that's what he was able to do. And he's like, hey, we were never meant to win. And for some reason, that statement just hit so strong to me because it reminded me of Infinity War when Strange was like, this was the only solution to give him the time stone. Like,
Yeah.
this is it's not met. I've seen all the possibilities. There's only one way this can go. He has to get it. I felt the same way. It's like, yo, we're not supposed to win this. We are just supposed to get the separation. And then I know what I'm supposed to do. Put him in a prison.
Yeah,
And
I'm gonna
really
pull up
fuck
that
with
shot right
moment.
now for the chat. Like, I love this shot of him putting them in the prison. Like, I thought that was really really sick. I also loved just like how Killmonger looked in the
Oh,
Ultron
he
armor.
looks so
He looks
badass.
so badass, dude. Like, there is a fuck up though. There is a fuck up in that scene because when he puts the Ultron suit on and the stones go on, the time stone is a second from the right, but the time stone is in the middle in that shot. So they kind of fuck up in that one frame and then they fix it in the next frame.
Wait, so there were 2 time stones in one shot?
So there's only one time stone, but it was in the wrong place. So the
Gotcha.
reality stone was in the middle by itself, and then the time stone was a second from the right in the first shot when he puts on the suit. I was like,
And then they changed
up.
the colors in the next shot.
yeah, I was like, you
That's
messed
just an
up, guys.
animation error.
Yeah.
Hooper, I'll say that trickling back on what Abe said, where we're not meant to win. That was a very good, humbling callback to the the Doctor Strange episode, because Doctor Strange was trying to win. He was trying to get his girl back. He was doing everything he could, and it was a very good, humbling callback to, like, because he was always trying to be on top and win and overall succeed at whatever his goal was. And in this particular situation, he had a realization, like, we're not supposed to win. And I thought
Yeah.
that was a good, callback to that.
You guys are right. That's such a good point that, like, that's the lesson he was forced to learn in his episode. I didn't even consider that when I was watching it. That's excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I just
that's such a good point. Like, because I mean, he learned his lesson. Unfortunately, he learned it way too late, but he learned that lesson, right? And again, we talked about this kind of briefly in the beginning, but after that moment, we realized that this was Uatu's plan the entire time. We needed that betrayal from Killmonger in order to get to this point where we can lock them away forever. And Strange is completely okay with taking on this mission because this is what he deserves, right? This is his penance. He can now use his immortal life to make sure that the multiverse isn't destroyed, right? So I think that's a great way for him to atone. So I really, really appreciate that there is a way for him to atone after his mistakes. So they defeat Ultron, they defeat Killmonger, they defeat Zola and all that stuff. And the Guardians are going back to their own universes, exactly where they were picked up from before. And this is where it gets really interesting because I want to know more about all of these stories. I want to know more about Gamora and Tony. I want to know about, they had a shot of T'Challa and Peter shooting the guns at whatever. So I want to see how that's going to end with Ego. And I love this moment with Uatu and Natasha where he takes her to the universe that lost their mightiest heroes, and she's the key needed to take out Loki, much like she was the key in finding out Loki's plan in the first Avengers movie. So I thought that was really, really dope. The helicarrier is the same number as the helicarrier in the first Avengers movie as well.
Yeah.
I thought that was sick. So I'm very excited to see where they all go. And Uatu tells Captain Carter, even though you want to go back to in the 40s with Steve, this universe needs you. This world needs you. So I want to know, like, what do you guys think about that? Like, what do you guys think about what else Captain Carter may have to do in this universe? And maybe which one of these storylines are you interested in picking up?
Well, what she has to do is what we already touched on before, is you got to protect that universe from the manipulated Steve Rogers, the Hydra form of Steve Rogers, because I definitely think that he is that Winter Soldier of that universe. And she was saying how she wanted to go back to the 40s to see Steve. Well, you're gonna see him. And
I think that's what it was. He was like, just go back and keep living.
I've got an evil one coming your way. Like, it'll be fine.
Your Steve he's still there. Don't worry.
Get out of here. And a callback to that is what was it? They were saying that in my universe, Steve Rogers is Captain America, and she was like, "Oh, I would like to see that." So she's about to see her sexy Steve.
Do you think inside the Hydra Stomper he's Serum Steve? Like, do you think Hydra injected him with something, or do you think he's still? I think they might have done
Steve? Something. I mean, because
I think they just enhanced the Hydra Stomper over the years. I think they just enhanced it.
I think he's inside of there.
Because I mean, if he had the serum, he doesn't need the suit.
That's true.
I think he needs the suit.
My thing.
Remember, it was a half-ass serum, so you never know.
I think he needed the suit to preserve.
Yeah, but Bucky.
Dude, what if he's like a part of the suit at this point? Like, what if they like really fucked with him?
They couldn't.
Like,
what if he is the suit?
Yeah. What if?
They couldn't
shit.
Open it and
they put like a Cyberman type shit.
That would be so sad. That would break my heart.
Movies, we ride. We ride.
I was thinking that was his version of being frozen. The suit is what.
I can see that too, but I can also see them Zola in him, because Zola would have had the opportunity to be like, "Oh, I've been thinking about doing this," and he just
let me test it on you.
Yep,
maybe. Yeah, but I don't think it would make sense for him to have the serum, because like Bucky had the closest thing to Steve other than Isaiah Bradley. He had the closest serum. And Steve could tear apart that suit. So why would he need it if they gave him the super soldier serum? I'm not saying you guys are wrong.
That's also
no,
like the thing.
I think you're
so like,
right.
Why wouldn't they give him a serum if they expected him to fight Captain Carter? Because Captain Carter could just tear that suit up.
But
and then as little as he
I don't know.
She's just gonna rip him apart like a phone book at a pep rally with those strong people. She just rip him apart.
That seemed real personal, Steve.
It sounds real personal. Like, yeah, you got some demons you need to work out here, sir.
I've tried to rip a phone book in my life and it didn't work. But yeah, like I think the suit is what's preserving him instead of him being frozen. That's my theory.
I see that too.
Yeah.
Straight up. I can see that too.
I can see that.
And thus, it being manipulated to where they couldn't get into it, because I'm pretty sure once they found it, they figured out there was life within it, since Natasha was able to tell through her research and whatnot, through her findings. But my thing is that they probably were trying to see, like, yo, can we crack this thing open? Okay, we can't crack this thing open. Can we possibly program it? And, Zola exists in that universe, which is also something that is funny, because I was reading up. It's like Captain Carter doesn't really know about Zola being able to exist longer than he does outside of her universe, as far as we know. But here she is in this episode, seeing that, oh, Zola done took over a whole AI. Is it possible you could do that in the other universe? What if we get a Hydro Stomper where they try to be like, yo, Zola, you could make something shake with this? Could you take over and kind of like program the suit and just have a life force in there? Cyberman type shit, definitely possibility. I'm curious as to see what happens with that. But my only gripe about this finale is that some of the storylines just, where do you go from there? For example, Party Thor.
You don't. You just let them exist. It's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think we go back to Party Thor, because I mean, he goes on a date with Jane, and then what else?
There's really no need to.
Who gives a shit?
So when I say the ending, it's just like, I know for sure we're not going to revisit all of this. Like I said earlier in the show, the ending allowed, the overall just theme of this episode allowed for us to explore some of the same stories and build upon them and give us much more stories, because again, we have an infinite possibility. Like, yo, we can get what if Tony Stark is a traitor in season 2? Give us a different spin. We can get a Spider-Man one. There's some Fantastic Four themed ones we can get in the future, not for season 2.
What if Howard Stark was a Hydra spy?
Exactly.
Shit.
So, but with everybody that was returned back, like Steve mentioned, the Captain Carter one definitely left the most room for exploration. Then Natasha being sent to episode 3, Hank Pym's murdering. It's like, all right, well, it looks like that one is kind of just being wrapped up now anyway, thanks to Natasha. Killmonger doesn't return, which means that if you go back, here's the funny thing, doesn't it end up being like what we might get from Black Panther 2 in that case? You know, because there's no T'Challa.
There's no T'Challa, there's no Killmonger.
So
Shuri's too young though.
Yeah. So I'm saying, so as a result, you probably don't explore that much because isn't that essentially what we're going to get with Black Panther 2? You know, so that kind of like limits the potential to for further exploration in that one.
I think Black Panther 2 is more so going to focus on the relationship between Wakanda and Atlantis than anything else. So I don't know how much multi-dimensional
you think
stuff.
Exactly. That's why I think that that while Killmonger was not returned to his universe, it's kind of capped off. We probably won't revisit that. Then we have Doctor Strange. The only reason we revisit him
is in season 2.
He's actually the second most likely one for further exploration, and not just for season 2, but in terms of the MCU.
Yeah,
because he's already in this pocket dimension. And how often have we been dealing with pocket dimensions in Phase 4? This is basically the third time we've been dealing with a pocket dimension. We got it with WandaVision. We got it with the TVA. We're getting it with Strange. So they're pushing the idea that pocket dimensions can occur. So we can possibly explore different ones. So leaving Strange open, and then everybody else.
Doctor Strange too. The Mirrorverse. Like there's a lot of
I'm thinking like how Abe said. You get Captain Carter. I mean, they've replaced voice actors, so I could see us still getting the Star-Lord, Black Panther, Star-Lord and the Ravengers joint, and then. Other than that, sorry
to interrupt. Do you think they should still go with it and just recast T'Challa?
I mean, they've done it with a lot of other people.
They can,
I get it visually. You don't want to recast T'Challa, but as a voice actor, I think you could get away with that.
You
know
could.
What I'm saying? I think you could get away with it.
The voice actor that does Tony Stark, he does a really good
so spot on.
It's pretty good.
RDJ.
And even Captain Marvel, Brie Larson, she kind of sounds similar to her.
Yeah, the voice actress that does Black Widow, I think she's amazing.
Yeah,
she
Bell
perfectly captures her Scarlett's inflections. Like it's really good.
Even Josh Keaton with Steve in the first episode, there were moments where I forgot that it was Josh Keaton, and he's a prominent voice actor. You know,
so I think you can get away with that. So you can get those two, and then as far as the Doctor Strange expansion, I feel like they'd expand on that in season 2 of What If.
I think the two characters we're most likely going to see going forward are definitely Supreme Strange and Captain Carter. Those are the two that have been rumored most
for sure
to appear in live action. And if you look at those characters, they're both voiced by the original actors as well.
Right.
So I think that they're like most likely what we're going to see in the MCU in the future.
I think Killmonger will be back too. I'll be very frank with that. I think he'll be back. They're gonna figure out some way to bring that character back. Like,
do you think it'll be in live action or animation though?
Probably just animation.
No, well,
they said he was in Black Panther.
Black Panther 2. The rumor is been mostly kind of. It's not outright.
It's
confirmed.
a rumor. We don't comment on rumors and speculation.
He gonna be a multiverse.
We theorize. How we theorize, but we don't comment on rumors and speculation, sir.
Because rumors are different than theories.
Exactly, rumors are very different from theories.
Anyway, so this rumor that was said that Killmonger might be in Black Panther 2, I am going to theorize that he could.
So your theory is whack based on a rumor. Got you.
You mentioned the theory about we get him in an ancestral plane, which would be fun. It would be fun to see him because then it's like
interesting.
It'd be interesting, but then I'm wondering, like, yo, is it possible that he could tank the ancestral plane? Because as far as we know, everybody who's in the ancestral plane was kind of.
I don't think
they didn't have the same. They didn't have the same thoughts.
Yeah, Bast.
But they were. I don't think the Panther guy played like that.
Well, who knows? I mean, we've seen that Killmonger can run shit if he wants. You feel me?
If he played in the big game, he boss like, hey, calm your ass down.
I agree with Chris Conkling. I believe that Black Panther 2 will be Namor attacking Wakanda while Black Panther is away. I think it's going to be during the snap. So it's going to be like kind of a callback to what's going on in Wakanda as T'Challa is snapped away.
I truly hope that that's not it. I honestly.
I think that's what I think if Namor's going to attack, and then at the end of the movie, we'll have some form of T'Challa come back and be like, "Yo, what the fuck is going on?"
I truly hope that
ambitious.
I hope that it's Wakanda doing its thing and showing that they can move forward without a king. Yeah. Like that's my hope.
And then there's a huge subplot with Riri as well, so I don't really see them introducing Atlantis. You know what I mean?
Like I basically want it to be Wakanda's opened up its borders. What does that mean for Wakanda?
I don't mind. What I want.
She has a scholarship,
but that changes everything because of the fact that unfortunately we lost Chadwick Boseman.
No. What it sets up is that Black Panther 2 ends up being like a bridge for the future rather than
to the future. Exactly. Yeah. That's what I'm hoping it is.
So we can get a really good bridge built up with Black Panther 2. In regards to Namor, I don't want Namor to be like put in there, but I don't mind them further building upon like further teasing about Atlantis, because again,
I mean, I want them to I do at least want them to confirm Atlantis. I want them to confirm that. But other than that, that's it.
And then we didn't mention this.
Let Shang-Chi go whoop on Namor, right? That's what I want.
Agatha is going to get her own series, and if you know the history of Agatha, she has history with the Atlanteans. So we know that she's going to be in further Disney Plus shows and in the movies.
Namor be laying that pipe everywhere, bro.
I'm basically just saying, look, dog, Atlantis is damn near confirmed already for me without them outwardly saying like, yo, Atlantis. For sure. That's confirmed. So I'm cool with that, but I don't want them to just throw us Namor this soon. Namor is a character similar to Doom that you have to build up towards, that you have to make sure you do right. No need to rush it.
But he's not as good as Doom. No need to rush it.
No, he's not. But Namor himself is a force to be reckoned with. And his personality to be a foil to Doom is so crazy. Where I don't want them to be like, yo, again,
I want Doom and Namor fighting over Susan and Reed like, man, what the fuck?
Right?
I would love. But
if you introduce Namor in Black Panther 2, by the time we get to Fantastic Four,
I don't want it.
You could do that.
You don't even want an introduction.
I want if you're not going to outwardly say in this movie, Atlantis is real, then I just want you to further tease it. I don't want you to just drop Namor for us unless you do an after credit scene. After credit scene, perfectly fine.
I think they're trying to save it to go head to head with Aquaman personally.
So I would love a Namor post credit scene at the end of Eternals, and I'll explain why.
That's what I want. Thank you, Jay.
Because since the Deviants are back, what stops them from being underwater as well? So they can threaten Atlantis, and Namor may need help, or someone comes to get help on behalf of Atlantis, and then that's how we get
introduced to Namor. Successfully by itself, and they're like, what the hell?
Or was there an aquatic fight in that trailer for Eternals, or am I tripping?
There's a fight on a beach.
Yes, there's a fight on the beach, yeah.
Okay. Close enough.
I think the Deviant was actually coming out of the water. So.
Yeah, it was coming out of the water.
There we go. Like you said, who's to say, if it's already coming out the water,
I would prefer it to be in Eternals. Like that's why I would love that tease.
I mean, you know who I'm waiting for to be teased in Eternals? I'm waiting for the Beyonder to be teased. That's what I'm waiting for.
Oh, you think teased? No, he's just gonna be there, bro.
Hey, no, the way I see it teased is that you have him in his white coat, just like after credit scene, he just like just pop his collar real quick, and I'll be like, I know who that is.
I'm still on this trend that I think they might do Sentry. I still think that they might do Sentry. Sentry is like there's room for it now.
You think this early?
Not now, but I feel like they're absolutely gonna do Sentry.
Oh yeah.
I think they do Sentry, depending on how well Moon Knight is received.
That and I think also based on how Eternals is received.
True. Yeah. Based on how those two are received, I think that's when.
I mean, Sentry could be a really good focal point. They could tell a really good story on mental health with Sentry, straight up.
Yeah,
that's why exactly. That's why I'm waiting on Moon Knight.
That's why you said Moon Knight. Yeah.
Yeah, Moon Knight is going to be that first. If they do it right without people being like, "Oh my gosh, y'all didn't understand the assignment, y'all cheap in the moment," then we're not going to get it. But if they do it right, where people are like, "Oh shit," and in my opinion, when it comes to serious matters like that, not only has Disney Marvel shows done that, but even the Netflix Marvel shows did a great job with covering certain like PTSD with Punisher.
Yeah.
Jessica Jones messed me up, bro.
Jessica Jones, yes, with Assault and Jessica Jones and whatnot.
Yeah,
So
man.
I have utmost confidence, and then we'll definitely get Sentry down the line. But it won't be until after we see how Moon Knight and definitely Eternals does financially, because at the end of the day, they care about financials more so than true morals and whatnot. But financially, we'll see.
Ray, since we're on the topic of theories, what was your wild theory?
Okay, so this relates back to our friend Kang the Conqueror.
Yes.
So, okay, think about this. In every universe, so far that we saw, one person dies. That's Tony Stark, right? The reason why Kang becomes Kang, because he meets a version of himself from the future, right? If Tony Stark was able to do what Kang did and meet himself and further himself along, he could stop Kang before Kang becomes Kang. So why would Kang let that happen? You remove Tony Stark from the equation, you ain't got to worry about him. But you have to remove him from the entire equation.
So that's why he's dying in every multiverse?
In every multiverse, he's dying because Tony Stark is the only person who has the potential to stop him at that point, at that level. So now it's going to be a grind for them to stop him, but still, it'd be easier if Tony was there, wouldn't it?
So do you possibly see the MCU maybe bringing back Tony as like, hey, he was gone for so long, and then
Kang made sure he was gone for a reason. He was like, he's the greatest threat to my plan, therefore he is done. I have made sure every version of him is dead at some point.
Because what if Marvel, Mag Titan, Gamora, it seems like, hey, Tony living his best life, getting
I'm sure he
done.
gets snuffed there too.
I mean, he's alive for now.
Yeah, for now.
Who's to say?
In season 2, they'll introduce him and then kill him in another episode.
Literally.
At the end of the episode, it'll be so sad.
He dies off screen. Gamora gets back. Oh, he died?
Not off screen. Oh, if they off screen it, I'll be pissed.
He fell in the lava that was melting the Infinity Gauntlet. The armor just fused to him and burned him to death.
Oh, God.
He tripped in his Hulk.
Because Kang was such a fan of Tony Stark that he would also understand that Tony is the one person who could stop him. And so in order for him to remain what he is, he's got to get rid of Tony.
We also still have that line from Endgame where he's like, when you mess with time tends to mess back.
And he messed with something he shouldn't mess with. And so Kang was like, hey, no!
Ray talked about that before. Like, why did he say that? Why would he say that? How could he know that time messes back?
Exactly. It's like,
how could he have known if he didn't test it first?
Yeah, he definitely says you'll see too.
It's very interesting to think about. So I have a question for you guys. I want to know, Chris, I want to start with you. I want to know what's your favorite episode of season 1 and your least favorite episode of season 1, and then we'll go around and then we'll do predictions for season 2 if you guys have any, and then wrap up.
Okay, so my favorite episode of season 1 has to be the Doctor Strange episode, and the reason being is out of all of these episodes, it is the most complete episode. You know, there's a whole arc to this episode, whereas the time limit for all these episodes over the course of the season really did hinder a lot of these stories to unfold fully. You know, we got a lot of cool things taking place, but like a lot of the stories felt incomplete to me, at least. And the Strange episode felt the most complete and had the most focus on a single character. My least favorite episode, and this might be controversial, I don't know, but my least favorite episode is episode 3, the murder mystery episode, you know, where they kill off the original Avengers team. And that's because that was the first sign of like the show breaking down because of these time constraints. You know, the title of the episode is, what was it? What if Earth didn't have its mightiest heroes? Right. And then we get to the end of the episode and it's like, okay, so Hope Van Dyne was the catalyst for all this to happen, like her death. Like, shouldn't the episode have been called What If Hope Joined S.H.I.E.L.D.? You know, because initially, like, that was really the crux of why all this took place.
That is true.
That would have gave it away.
It would have. It absolutely 100% would have given away the whole episode. But like, I don't know, that episode just didn't feel full to me or complete. And that's where I was like, oh, okay, I think this show might end up having a time problem. and not being able to really flesh out the stories fully to make them feel like full stories. So yeah, Doctor Strange, that was the best episode in my opinion. The what if Doctor Strange lost his heart instead of his hands, and then what if Earth lost its mightiest heroes was, I think, the weakest episode.
Okay. Steve, what about you?
My favorite episode, I think I'm gonna go with the same one that Chris said as the Doctor Strange one. It was just overall the value of that episode to the whole season was just more significant. Other than that, it would have to be the episode 8, the one that we just the Ultron getting the Infinity Stones. But
Ultron won.
Yeah, what if Ultron won? Since I want to choose something different from it. So what if Ultron won was definitely one of the better episodes, and it was the fights. It was just so much action, and it was the impact of it. Even when even though I felt like it should have been a bigger fight with him and Thanos, him whooping Thanos' ass real quick. It was like that shit was hype. Like I definitely
fascinating.
I was all like, okay, this is hype. So yeah, that would be my favorite.
Dude, that one reason is what makes me question the entirety of episode 9. Like, if he killed Thanos in an instant with one Infinity Stone, why the fuck didn't he kill the entire team with all the Infinity Stones?
He tried. Strange stopped him. He did try.
All right. You're right.
Multiple times.
Ray, what about you?
Favorite
But
episode?
I don't think Steve gave his least favorite episode.
What's your least
my
favorite
bad,
one,
my
Steve?
bad.
Yeah.
Oh, my least favorite is Party Thor. Party Thor. Yeah, I mean it was fun, but it was it wasn't all that to me.
I feel you. So my favorite one is actually the first one, with Captain Carter. So look, I have to be real with you, like, because it was the one that for me it was like, if we were gonna do, we're like, what if in the space of things, and Peggy Carter's the one who does get the serum. I'm like, okay, first of all, yeah, she's the one person who it would make the most sense for. It would also change the most things, I think, in the universe going forward. Like, it literally would change the universe, not just for, heroes, but for women. Like, that'd be wild. And not just, also, it's not Captain America. That also changes things for America. That's wild. So I'm like, there's a lot of really cool stuff that happens here. And then she just disappears. And they're like, where'd she go? And then she comes back with a sword, and I'm like, okay, this is great. Who knows what happens from there? For like, if she had just got to stay, to be honest, does it just be like a 1-to-1 of what Steve Rogers' encounters were, or what are some other deviations from that? I'm like, I love the potential.
I was thinking about this earlier today, and I didn't think about it when I initially watched that episode, but is there a shield in that universe?
That's what I'm saying.
Because Peggy Carter was like,
she was one of the founders.
The one responsible for founding S.H.I.E.L.D. So
as a way to do something to protect Steve.
Right. Is there a shield?
There has to be
that series.
There has to be.
That's why, to me, like that
because there's still Howard and there's still the General to make.
But do they need to make? But do they need to make S.H.I.E.L.D. at that point? Because I think that Steve was the motivation for S.H.I.E.L.D. because they wanted to protect Steve at the same time. Does that make sense? It was her way of also looking out for him.
I mean, but can't you say that the General and Howard are doing that for Peggy, and that's why they created S.H.I.E.L.D.?
I'll be honest. I think that out of that would come Hive instead of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Hive. Interesting.
This is why we need the series for that.
That
one.
Cool.
I think Captain Carter.
I really like Captain Carter is my favorite episode because there's just so much like actual what if potential. Like the Doctor Strange episode is great, and I think it's good because it's just a really good Strange story, and we didn't get enough of that.
Yeah.
But I felt like this Peggy Carter becoming Captain Carter was like, hey, yo, yeah.
It's a good episode.
That's dope. And
it definitely set a positive tone for the rest of the show. When I watched that first episode, I was excited.
And so least favorite is a little more difficult for me because like I enjoyed all of these. But I can't say like Party Thor. I was least favorite. It's just it was compared to everything else the least impactful emotionally.
Yeah, if you had to make a list, what would end up at the number 9 spot?
In the number 9 spot, like that is hard. So actually, it would probably be the what if the world lost his mightiest Avengers? Like because it's like it's good, mind you, but it doesn't get good till the end. That's the thing.
Really?
Yeah, like the end of that is fantastic. It's like, okay, yeah, these people are dying. Why? But like, I don't know. It's just the whole stuff with Loki at the end makes it way more interesting to me than folks just getting murdered. You know what I'm saying?
That's fair.
And they killed the Hulk, and so no,
Dude, that was gruesome. Like it didn't look gruesome, but the
it was
idea.
definitely gruesome. I was like, hey,
His
yo,
heart
that was dirty.
exploded.
Yeah. Jeez.
It's just because it's Disney. They had to.
Yeah, they're like, we can't put any blood, and he's gonna
Yeah,
turn into a
body
puff of
parts.
green
blood,
smoke.
His blood's green anyway, so it works.
Yeah. Hey, what about you?
So for me, my favorite episode was the Doctor Strange episode for all the reasons that were mentioned. It was definitely the most complete one story wise. Like we got a clear beginning, middle, end. It was tidily wrapped up while still, thanks to the finale and whatnot, still being like, hey, his story is not over yet. Like while we were able to, they did a great job of spending 25 plus minutes on him and doing it well. My least favorite episode is honestly, as Ray mentioned, the Party Thor episode. Like, I mean, it's not even just because of the episode itself, but it portrayed the style of Thor that I don't really care for too much. And it just made me think of Thor Ragnarok and the happy-go-luckiness of it all. And it just reminded me why I dislike that film. And so it has to be my least favorite just off principle. But even just at a more objective pace, as Ray mentioned, there was nothing really emotionally tying for this episode. It was just like, hey, you know, we had some fun. This episode was, to me, up until the end, was the MCU was Marvel saying, hey, let's kind of tone it down. We've been hitting with y'all with some heavy, serious depression shit.
Well, I mean, also all of Thor's story in the movies have been depressing, so let's give you a happy one.
So let's spice it up. You know, let's spice it up. Let's make you laugh. Let's make you have fun.
What if Thor was happy was the original title?
Basically. And so that has to be my least favorite by far. But again, Doctor Strange's story was just so well done. The emotion, the gravity. And it was also the first time we really saw, yo, your actions have universal consequences that are irreversible. It was the first time we saw consequence in Marvel What If. And it, at the end of it all, it is the most serious consequence of them all.
Mm-hmm.
Like everybody else got happy endings minus him, really. You know, he still had to go back into solitude. Yeah, you gave him something to watch over to spend his time. Like you gave him a fish bowl. You gave him 2 goldfish to watch over and take care of. With Uatu saying like, yeah, you know, I'm gonna drop by every now and then, my homie. You know, when I get bored, I'm gonna pull up on you. Yeah, I know you lonely and stuff, and you can't talk to these little fishies, but you can watch them and feed them. You know,
I love that you compared Killmonger and Ultron to goldfish.
That's what it is.
A snow globe.
You're 100% right, dude.
You gave him a pet and like, yo, I hope this deals with your boredom. I was just like, damn, like it just saying the ultimate sacrifice. Is it really the ultimate sacrifice if he had nothing to go back to in the first place? It's not, because I would have been pissed off if they were like, oh yeah, Uata, Uata was like, you know what, thanks for helping us out. Couldn't have done it without you.
Actually, happy ending for Dark Strange, if you think about it.
Yeah, I would have been like, hold on,
something to do.
Yeah, at least he has a purpose now.
To do it because they're frozen in there, right? So he's just putting it on the shelf and just.
Yeah, but you never know when it can crack, right? So he has to pay attention.
I mean,
they
there's
get
like
out.
a tug of war happening between the two of them. So
it's one of those scenarios in movies and films where it's like, bro, if no one watches this, if no one makes that sacrifice to watch this, shit's gonna be ugly for everybody.
Yeah. Another Doctor Who reference. This made me think of the 50th anniversary when we find out that that entire battle was all in that painting. It's all like frozen in time.
Yeah,
exactly.
He should just go at the shell and have a 3-way battle royale with him. Let's just get an
Steve.
Let's just get an episode on
you
that.
had me messed up in the first half, but okay.
I didn't know that was the direction you were going in, Steve. I was like, what now?
A 3-way battle royale, I'd love it.
I didn't realize that battle royale was going to be the next words.
Me either. I was like, whoa, Steve, what kind of fan fiction you writing, bro?
Oh, wait. Okay, now I just caught what you guys were thinking. Whoa, there. This is a family show.
Not after what you just said.
Right? For me, I think the best episode by far is What If Ultron won. That episode is just flames on every level possible. The pacing, the animation was the best it's ever been in any of the episodes, including the finale. I thought the animation was ridiculous. All of those like Kirby Easter eggs and Kirby images that we got in that last episode. And as an Ultron fanboy, how do I not want to see Ultron take the Infinity Stones, murder Thanos, destroy an entire universe, beats the living dog shit out of Uatu, bro. Like, there's just nothing that can get better than that for me.
It was awesome.
And then
really showed him what's up.
And then least favorite, only because I liked all of the episodes just a little bit more, is the Party Thor episode. Like, that would have to be at the number 9 spot, where it's like, yeah, this is filled with great Easter eggs. It's really fun watching Thor and Captain Marvel like exchange blows literally all across the entire planet. But yeah, What If Ultron won? Flames. Jared asked a question in chat. He wants to know, besides Kang, what other variant heroes or villains we would like to see in season 2 of What If?
Spider-Man. There's so many different storylines you can get with Spider-Man. What if Gwen Stacy
Superior Spider-Man.
Superior Spider-Man. You can do that. I mean, hey, this is their opportunity. I won't say.
Said it. I want World War Hulk. I want that.
I won't say exactly
what if Warrior Hulk comes back and wins?
That would be sick.
World Breaker Hulk coming back and just wrecking shop. What happens? I want to know.
I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say, can we get some Malekith redemption?
We should,
please,
because
bro.
That was the worst thing about.
He was so bad. He was a nothing in that movie.
You get Christopher Eccleston, bro. You get Eccleston.
Yeah,
and then you ruin it. Oh my god.
Yeah,
but yo, here's a chance to explore, like, remember when the comics were dropping like the Venomverse line, and how what if the symbiote bonded to this type of hero? That's another avenue.
Oh, dude, a Venomized episode? I mean, they did the Marvel Zombies. We're definitely going to get a Venomized. I don't know how that would work out legally, but for those that have seen the second Venom movie, I mean...
And then here's two more ideas that I wouldn't mind seeing. Although Loki with their storylines is kind of more of a season-long thing. Punisher kills the Marvel Universe, or Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe. I wouldn't mind seeing.
I'd rather the Deadpool.
Animated.
Deadpool one sounds way better.
I wouldn't mind.
That can also be contained to one episode. You know, what if Deadpool kills the entire Marvel Universe or kills the MCU?
Yeah, it can, or you can extend it. You know, depending.
I would love a Cosmic Ghost Rider, like What If episode with Frank Castle. That would be sick, bro.
If we get to this point, what if Magneto's formed the X-Men? I want it.
Ooh. Jared in the chat says, Season 2, Episode 1, what if Thor the Dark World was good?
That's literally what you asked for.
It is. That is what I asked for.
I want that exact title.
Abe kind of has an idea that I was thinking. I was thinking, what if Frank Castle got cancer and he got the mutant hormone and became the Deadpool? That's what I would like to see a what if of.
That would be interesting.
There's no humor. There's
what if Frank Castle was Deadpool?
A dark ass Deadpool.
That would be crazy.
I gave him Iron Man armor once, so yeah, it's possible.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, I was not expecting everybody to dive into Frank Castle. After Abe opened the nut hole, everybody was like, "Oh, Frank Castle." I was like, "Fuck! I should have went first again."
Hey, sometimes Zorro finds the right direction to go. You know, he has his moments.
Season 2 is just all Frank Castle based.
Different Frank Castle. That would be dope.
What if Frank Castle became Thor?
What if Peter Parker became Daredevil? That'd be some tight shit too.
That would be fun.
Bro. That'd be nuts.
Or like with the what if with the Storm symbiote? When Storm gets the Venom symbiote, oh my god!
What if Luke Cage took over Harlem? Oh wait, that was supposed to be season 3 of Luke Cage.
I don't want to talk about that. No.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about potential predictions or excitement for episode 2. So let's for season 2. So let's go around, talk about our excitement, any predictions that you guys might have for season 2. Then we wrap up for the night. Who wants to go first?
Let Steve go first this time.
Yeah, Steve,
Let
Steve
Steve
go
go
You've been
first.
talking all that cash money.
The one time that I don't think I'm ready to go first. All right. So
Just as we planned.
for season 2, the only thing I'm assuming that we're gonna definitely get the Doctor Strange. We're gonna get more of the that picking up. I definitely, for some reason, I feel like we're gonna get our own series for Captain Carter and the Black Panther. I mean, the Star-Lord and the Ravengers. I think that's still gonna happen, even though they said that it was set in stone, and unfortunately, Chadwick Boseman died. I still think we're going to get that. So I don't think we're going to get those in season 2 of What If. I think What If we'll get to see the Gamora Mad Titan. We'll get to see Superior Strange. And then I think we'll probably get some more What Ifs. Maybe I think one of the What Ifs we might get, because I saw like a lot of fans hyping this up, was when Banner Hulk becomes the evil version and he tries to take over the world. I think we'll get a What If of that.
That'd be cool.
And especially with She-Hulk probably going to be dropping before What If, we'll definitely get some She-Hulk in there in the What If series.
I hope so. I really hope so.
For me, it depends on, ever since I joined this show, one of the big storylines I've been advocating is Secret Wars. Now there's 2 different avenues that can go about that. They can bring in the Beyonder, or they can use Kang in that sort of Beyonder role. It's up to them. MCU has the leeway and the luxury to retcon as they please. But I wouldn't be surprised if one of the episodes we get in season 2 further teases Secret Wars or even Secret Invasion. And it's like it sets it up, and it's like, hey, we don't need to continue. We'll expand upon that with this series. Whether that series is live action or animated, had they said what they would do with the Secret Invasion series?
Secret Invasion is live action.
Yeah.
It's live action. Okay. I mean, yeah, you can easily translate the animated stuff to the live action stuff. Just don't make it too extravagant, But that's what I'm expecting. That we're probably gonna get one episode that I would love. Not that I'm theorizing this. I would love for an episode of season 2 to basically further set the foundation for Secret Wars specifically, but also possibly for Secret Invasion. Just serve as a jumping off point.
Yeah, I mean, all of the cosmic aspects of Secret Invasion you can do animated, and then do everything else in the TV show if you wanted to do that.
Yeah, I don't know if they would do that in a What If show though. Considering that the Secret Invasion show is like main MCU
right
timeline as far as we know.
But I wouldn't be surprised, because we know that with Secret Invasion and Secret Wars that it affects different universes. So I can see them with the just teasing like, yo, this is one universe that will further get involved with Secret Invasion or Secret Wars. So we just have some like a cameo or Easter egg that's like, hold on, something's brewing here. We're going to revisit that, but instead of revisiting it in season 3, boom, we're going to make that, like you mentioned, Secret Invasion being like a big focal point. We'll just further elaborate that with a different series, because that's what season 1 showed me, especially when we found out that there's supposed to be T'Challa Star-Lord series, is that they were willing to further dive and spend focused time on some of these characters and give them their own run. And we also know that all of this, at the moment, all of this is canon for the MCU right now, and we're just gonna pick and choose. So I wouldn't mind seeing that.
I definitely think it's a great jumping off point for Secret Wars. Like, I would put money on seeing Captain Carter in a Secret Wars live action movie. Yeah, I think you're dead on there.
That would be sick, man. Ray, what about you?
So I know this is a long shot, and will probably never happen. But I'm super excited for season 2. I love the idea of What If, because it gives them room to just play and have like fun, and also tell stories that they really want to tell that they can't tell in main continuity because people. But I would love to see a What If Captain Marvel became the Herald of Galactus.
Yo, that would be tight.
Like, that would be so dope.
Or similar to the comics, it was what if Thor became a Herald of Galactus? That's another
Boring.
one.
I want Captain Marvel.
He
She's
said,
way more.
"F
She's
that."
way
Captain
more
Marvel
ruthless than
would
him.
be a little bit more interesting. I
She's
can't
way
lie.
more like she's way more of a cutthroat than Thor. I'll be very
Holy
honest.
Well, it
shit!
depends
Like,
on
where
what
have you been
version
this
of
whole
Thor
time,
you
Captain
decided
Marvel?
to
Oh,
do.
I've just been the Herald for Galactus.
Yeah,
Right.
nothing much.
Just watching.
When that, it's like,
universes be
why didn't you come the
consumed.
first time I called? Because I was busy.
I was guiding
Oh.
my boss to planets that he can devour.
By the way,
Yeah, planets
he's here
that's
now.
not
Yeah,
Earth.
were. That's the only reason why I showed up here, because it's
Oh
your time.
man!
It's
Right.
our time, and
It's
I need
your
you to get
requiem.
I need you to get the Avengers together to stop him.
Holy
Oh,
shit!
Dude, that'd be dope. I'm down for that.
I want it. I
That'd
want
be
it so
fine.
bad.
Oh man!
Ugh.
Chris?
Yeah, my predictions for season 2 are kind of weak sauce because we've already talked about them a little bit. You guys have come up with great what if scenarios.
Yeah.
I definitely think we're gonna get more Captain Carter. We're gonna get more Supreme Strange. Let's get a what if Mephisto was in WandaVision while we're at it. Let's just bring it all back.
He was there. I don't care what nobody said. He was there.
Listen, do you know how much joy it was? Everybody going, "It's this Mephisto" every week. It was so good.
We were a part of
Well,
it, bro.
well,
like,
if
I
you
feel
see-
bad.
The
For
If you
world
see the
perpetuating
patterns
that.
on
And
the
I loved it.
curtains, it
It was
actually.
so good. I know, I loved it. They knew what they were doing. The world
And-
was so different at that time. It was
I'm
great.
rewatching WandaVision right now, and I'm just like, man, I remember when everybody was hyped. You know what, Marvel, Kevin Feige, I know you're listening to Careful for Spoilers. We appreciate
course he
you
is.
so much, but definitely just think about just as a jokey joke, just tug our chain a little bit. Can you do that? I appreciate you. We'll talk later.
I got the title. What if it was Mephisto all along? Boom. Nailed it.
Wow.
Oh wait, first of all, then people are going to be like, wait, does this connect to WandaVision or does this connect to No Way Home? Which one are we connecting to?
Both.
But in No Way Home, you see the Spider-Man poster, and they got Peter Parker dressed as the devil in the poster.
Mephisto
That's-
confirmed.
That's
Mephisto confirmed.
right there.
You see? You see?
See,
Multiverse
Doctor
of
Strange.
Madness?
Doctor Strange's hair is different in No Way Home. Mephisto.
It's Mephisto.
Multiverse of Madness, we come across a familiar place. It's like, who that? Mephisto.
Look, it's not Mephisto.
Keep going.
Doctor Strange is just fed up with Wong's nagging. That's what it is.
Listen, if people keep going on about this, they're gonna meet Mephisto. Come on now, quick!
I like that.
Oh,
They gonna beat
Bazinga.
Mephisto.
Bazinga, right?
Yeah, that's a
Um,
Bazinga.
But I know that people were already speculating that it's not actually Doctor Strange that caused this spell. It's Mephisto.
It's
because of-
strange, man. You
Yeah.
you are taking
It's
an
100%
already
strange.
super arrogant guy who has become the most powerful sorcerer supreme ever. He has even more of a god complex. Of course he thinks that he can change reality with no consequences. Of course he thinks he can. It's definitely him. 100%.
he's coming off of guiding Tony Stark to save the universe. Like, it was his influence that made Tony do what he did. So of course he feels that way.
He saw the game plan exactly. He was like,
Right.
without my plan, we would all be
Exactly.
dead.
It's his arrogance, bro. He thinks that he can just do anything because he's the
Totally.
sorcerer supreme.
I agree with that.
But
Or it could be Mephisto.
or it could be
Or it could be
Mephisto.
I don't know.
I'm sorry, Ray.
Everybody's already just on that Mephisto train.
Or it could be Nightmare. I'm just saying.
I thought that Nightmare was the rumored one. That we
For
were gonna
such a
come
long
across
time.
in
It was
Doctor
when Scott Derrickson was still writing Doctor Strange
Yeah.
2.
It was like,
Listen,
could
they,
it
there's
be
a
like,
reason
Nightmare?
why they
reshaped
kept
it.
showing the octopus tentacles coming out of Strange's arms. Bro.
Chthon.
Chthon, exactly. I feel like that's the big bad, to be honest with you.
It's like, especially when he used it
The
against
Darkhold's
Ultron
probably
in
going to
this
be in the
episode.
movie.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Well, I fully expect. Well,
Because
shit.
Wanda's in the movie and she has it.
I forgot about the Darkhold because Agents of Shield. Oh god.
Yo,
Different
forget about
Darkhold.
that.
Different
Push that
Darkhold.
out of your mind.
No, that's how we get Ghost Rider, and that's all I want. Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
yeah. Let's do that because Robbie Reyes is my Ghost Rider. I'm just say that right now. I need Robbie Reyes.
Robbie is my favorite.
So, let's get that cracking. You feel me?
Yeah, Jared, what if Doom became the Herald of Galactus? That would be dope too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
That'd be sick.
That would be really
But
dope.
I
would
don't
you
need no
introduce
more-
Doom before you give us F4? Would you introduce Doom this early next year?
Nah.
No, there's no way.
Yeah, you don't do that early. But yeah, man, this was a great review. I really like season 1. Can't wait to find out what's gonna happen in season 2, where that's all going to go. Any other final thoughts before we give our plugs for the night, guys? Want to give you any opportunities to say anything you might have missed?
I just want to say I'm glad that I didn't have the opportunity to hate on the show as much as I thought that I would, and I came off way more positive. So thanks, James.
You did.
You had fun. There you go.
And that's it. You know, what is this show about if not having fun? You know, what if it was just about having fun? So,
Ray, tell the people where they can find you online.
Oh, well, you can find me as RayApollo, RayApollo, everywhere on the internet, but I need you to focus on 3 places instead. That's Twitter, Twitch, YouTube. Those are the only places you need to look for me. Everywhere else, if you see me, no, you didn't.
Chris?
You can find me on Twitter at Chris Conkling, talking about all things nerdy. And then you can follow my podcast at Popaholics on Twitter, at PopaholicsCast on Instagram. We do have a YouTube page, but I don't recommend searching Popaholics. You're going to get something very different. So just go to our social and go to our link tree, and you can find our YouTube page through there.
Steve?
I've searched Popaholics on YouTube.
It's poor branding, Steve. I'm sorry you had to go through that.
It's not fun.
You know, three years ago, we didn't think that branding was going to be an issue. Why we didn't do any research ahead of time, I don't know. The moral of the story is, though, subscribe to the Popaholics YouTube channel.
There was times when I was working overnight and y'all would say something. Oh,
I saw it.
You'd be like, if you could see his face, so I'd be like, oh, Popaholics.
I like, it was one of those things where I saw it and then my vision instantly went blurry because it was trying to protect me from what I was seeing, and I quickly closed the tab.
I'm so sorry. Get us to 100 subscribers so I can create a custom URL for us.
Don't
please.
actually look. Please don't look. As a warning, as an ignorant fool I am, don't look.
Go through our link tree. It'll be way less disturbing.
Yes, and that'll be in the description of this video as well, so you guys can find it easily.
Thank you.
Oh, that's funny as shit. Yeah, you can follow me at ScubaSteve1428. Follow the ItMod page, the link tree, and everything of that, of course. And yeah, man.
Abe?
You know who it is. It's your boy Anikulapo Laburu, the Shin of Apocalypse, Darkseid's one and only true son. You can find me everywhere and anywhere. My hands is involved in a lot of things. I'm just inevitable, as my friend Akashi from Kuroko's Basketball says. I am absolute. So feel free to visit the links down below. Follow the podcast, the Osa Day podcast. We drop about twice a week. Announcement: there will not be a new episode. Osa is in the process of moving right now, but we did drop a episode earlier this week. On top of that, definitely follow Inside the Mind of a Blurred. Check out some of our recent episodes. We did an interview with the Blurred Explorer, aka Phil, who makes travel guides. He lives in South Korea. Definitely check out Mayanaka Mixer, new episode dropping this weekend. It will cover the playlist of the summer season. So for all those who enjoy anime openings, anime endings, be on the lookout for that. Of course, follow Anime Lately, Shonen Ronins this Sunday. Of course, follow Careful for Spoilers, obviously. And definitely do me a favor and go search Spicy Lady Gaming on Twitch. Follow her. She streams usually on the weekends. It's a great time. The personality is just fun. Spicy is an awesome homie of ours. And that should be it for everything that I'm involved with at the time being. I enjoyed my time here, like always. My drink is empty. I kind of ran out early on, so I'm kind of upset. So I'll make another one. But appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Not really. Thank you for coming through. I'm done.
I think the most important thing we learned during this episode, Abe, is that Days of Future Past is better than X2.
JB, we're not ending the show.
Tell it how it is.
I'm about to cuss this man out.
You guys can find me.
JK.
You guys can find
don't let me end this. Oh wait, hold on. Before JB goes. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, one more thing about Careful Spoilers. I'm going to steal JB's thunder just a little bit. Please sure to follow the Twitter page for Careful Spoilers as well as the Instagram page we are doing 31 Days of Halloween for all our horror fans and those who want to jump into something. We are providing you with a series or film a day that you should definitely peep. It is ones that JB and I have watched multiple times, have enjoyed for multiple reasons. Check it out. I mean, day 8 was today, and we were given, what was it? It was Alien, a classic film. Like, yo, everybody, if you haven't seen Alien, go see that shit right now. Like, you're not.
What are you doing? Not watching Alien,
right?
Yeah, exactly. So, all right, JB, you tie it up before I do something crazy again.
Ray, you've never seen Alien? Nah, we gotta fix
Ray,
that. Bro. We gotta fix that, bro.
Yo,
we gotta fix that.
You know what's crazy? The people I had most issue with this episode happened to be Chris and Ray. And Ray hasn't seen Alien. It makes all the sense now.
Oh.
He said no.
But you guys can follow me all over social media at JB Exclusive. Also follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at C4SVillains. Like Abe already mentioned, we're doing 31 Days of Halloween. Every single day we're giving you a series or a movie that we highly recommend you guys should check out. At the end of the month, I'm going to be doing an article compiling all of our different choices so you guys can easily find it and watch some really good horror movies, some really good horror series if you're into that. Next week is going to be really, really busy. Abe and I are going to be reviewing Halloween Kills. Next week is a free week, so we might take that time to review Squid Game. We might take that time to review, to do like a ranking of all the X-Men movies. So you guys in chat, you know, we do this show for you guys. So please let us know what you guys want to see, since next week is going to be a free week. But we're definitely reviewing Halloween Kills. On Saturday, I'm going to be streaming all of DC fandom, so make sure you stay tuned for that. We will have a recap article on the website as well. It's going to be a great time. We have so much lit content coming for you guys. And make sure you follow every single one of these amazing creators. I'll have all of their info in the description below. Make sure you follow them, subscribe, leave a comment on the podcast, and let them know that the Villains crew sent you over there. The Careful with Spoilers podcast and the Villains podcast are both now available on Facebook. So if you're not subscribed anywhere else, if you're already on Facebook, you can find us there. Just go to the page, click on the podcast tab, and you can find us right there. Leave us a rating, and we'll read it on the channel for you guys. So yeah, thank you, all of you guys, for joining in chat. Thank the panel for being here with me, and we will see you guys on the next one.